All right. What is up, good people of Earth? My name is Thinker St. James. I am joined by the legend Chase Parton, and this is the Free for All, where we talk about the comedy and the tragedy in this week in the world of mixed martial arts. Chase, how are you?
I am doing very, very good. I have a good amount of things for us to talk about. Obviously, once again, you guys test me when it comes to putting together a show on short notice, but like Volkanovski, man, you play that tune and I'm ready to go. So this will be fun. I'm excited.
That's right. Of course, Chase is the captain of this ship. I have a couple of ones that maybe I've suggested, but other than that, I'm going in 100% blind to the topics. So you'll get the unfiltered and raw reactions to them all. Thank you guys, of course, for joining us. If you are in the chat, let us know what you think about these stories that we're going over. This is your show as well. This is the one where we get to respond to you guys, talk through some of these things at length, and hopefully come to some kind of conclusion if there is one to be drawn.
Well, talking about conclusions, the first story we got to get into, this is one of the bigger things going on right now, and it does not have a conclusion yet. I mean, there is a conclusion for a lot of people in their minds about what they think of this person, but we will get into the first thing. Obviously, Anthony Smith, uh, arrested on domestic violence, false imprisonment, and terroristic threats. That was what it initially was. There's some more jargon in there between those as we looked into the other night. But Thinker, go ahead. Let's see what you got to say.
Well, yes. So, of course, Chase does his own show on his channel called The Street Word, and he did one last night and covered this story pretty in depth. So, I was there for most of that. We talked through this a little bit, so we don't need to necessarily go over too much with it. I'm hopefully going to be able to get a video out about this tomorrow if all goes according to plan. But I mean, what to say? It's terrible. Obviously, this is one of the big stories in the space right now, and it's not a good one. What I would say to this is that Anthony Smith was already kind of not a very well liked person, I think, for a number of reasons, right? I think some people didn't like him for his fight style. Other people I have heard from within the space, not a big fan of him personally as well. Some of his career navigation was a little bit kind of questionable, I would say, with him and Bisbing on the podcast that he basically left for no reason. There's just a number of things in Anthony Smith's whole story that have not really been aligning with the right path as it would seem, and this is certainly way off the beaten path, obviously beyond the pale.
Yeah, this one is crazy. I mean, once you look into the story details and what happened, I mean, it's a lot worse than what these charges would allude to. I mean, these are pretty bad, but it was pretty bad, and domestic violence or whatever obviously is never great. And then the kids kind of were at witnessing to this, so it's an unfortunate case specifically to the family involved. I don't know what's next for Anthony Smith. I mean, they say potentially up to 20 years, but I don't think that's what's going to happen in that. I could be wrong, but any word on the on how long you think or what he's going to end up? What are the repercussions for Mr.
Yeah,
Smith here?
sure. Yeah. I mean, I think that the my biggest question, and I don't know if we know the answer to this offhand. I'm sure somebody knows the answer, but I do not. Does he have any priors? Is he
Mm.
worried about there being repeat offender type situations with obviously different offenses? But if there's a criminal history, that could certainly play a factor here. If it's a first time offense, I mean, the details of it make it such that it is pretty heinous, and he is, of course, in the state of Nebraska, which I would think probably takes these types of offenses a little bit more seriously than other states. Every state is going to handle criminal matters differently, and I don't think that he's in a great one for it. That all being said, I mean, the level of celebrity that he has, questionable as to how much that's going to play a part. I mean, I'm sure that he has at least some amount of money between his fighting career and his desk analyst career to be able to fight these charges. I don't even, I'm not really like, I guess the answer to your question is I don't know. I mean, I would think that 20 years is probably nowhere near what it's going to be, what he would actually get. I would just assume he's going to get some type of incarceration because of this. I don't think that you're going to be able to get away with this scot free. But really, I mean, like, honestly, to me, I think beyond just the actual incident, the thing that's more like, this dude's life is fucking ruined. So I mean, like, as far as like his family life, you're going after your wife. You've got 3 kids, I believe, 3 daughters with this woman too. That just you just had your entire like family structure just blown apart now. And so whether he goes to jail because of this or how long he goes to jail almost feels a little bit secondary because I mean, like we saw with Dustin Poirier, of course, very different situation. Dustin Poirier, because it was a different situation, I think he handled it very gracefully in the aftermath. He's back on the broadcast now for the UFC. With this, it would be very surprising if he could come back to the desk analyst position. I think that's out the window. So that's out. Fighting career, I would assume he's probably going to still be able to get booked at certain organizations, but he was
Well,
already
he's
on.
currently in BK. He's in the Game Bread BK thing.
He is currently in bare knuckle in the Game Bread. Yes, that is correct. Who knows? I mean, I would assume that he'll be able to get rebooked there. But as I was saying, he's on the tail end one way or another. So even in Game Bread, it's like, A, how much could they really be paying, and B, how much longer? So I mean, you basically like threw away a lot of your future with this. And I mean, alcohol, drugs involved. There's been a lot of speculation about that part of it. It's how much does CTE play a part of it? It's just it's a horrible situation, 100% around, completely avoidable as well. So, what I think I said in your chat was that alcohol and those intoxicants do amplify underlying issues, and this is another one. I mean, I said it about Dustin Poirier that Dustin had been a person who had been kind of crying out for help in like subtle ways for a while. We'd seen a little bit of this type of behavior from him as well. I mean, who can forget him getting beat up in the cage and asking for more, after his coach and friend passed away. So there's a lot of factors that go into this. None of the outcome is good.
No, absolutely not. Yeah, this one's hard. I just we gotta wait to see what the actual repercussions are because this is kind and not in the same manner, but and obviously definitely not the same context. But when you think back at like what happened with Raha Jackson, it's like you feel in your heart like something's gonna happen to this dude. Like you can't just like get away. Like even a slighter sentence is like getting away kind of deal. Like it's got to feel, like he's getting something that he, has earned for his actions, So it's definitely unfortunate, but we did have to talk about it initially. Because the tragedy of the sport. I mean, it does run deep. We get a new story almost all the time. Unfortunately, it's never good. It's never great. And Anthony Smith is unfortunately just the he's the number one culprit now. He's on the list of the people we don't like on the free for all, which is unfortunate. So
Sad to say, because I was always one of the people that, even with his reputation, I always kind of had a little bit of a soft spot for him. I thought he kind of got a little bit of a bad rap, as far as his fighting career went, and some of his like outside of the cage conduct, with the podcast and his opinions and stuff. I always thought people were a little bit too hard on him, but now we know not hard enough. So unfortunate there. Yeah.
I think Hydra made a good point. When you ask like, does he have priors? Assume that it is. And Hydra makes a good point. It would be quite the first time offense. I mean, that
Yeah, for
is
real. Very good
so.
point.
But imagine if it is. So what does that change in the context here? It's like, is the judge going to be like, yeah, this dude just had a moment. Like what is this going to be? What do you think?
Well, I mean, I think that the issue with the priors is more to establish a pattern of antisocial behavior. So, because what you could say here, I mean, and again, we don't know the full 100% details. We know the details that we do know are really shocking and terrible, but there are
Yeah.
still factors that are not known. So, I mean, like if alcohol was a factor, which it would certainly appear that it may have been, you can try to chalk some of it up to that. Hey, I was drunk. We were arguing. There's more of the circumstantial things that may have happened that kind of inflamed the situation more than I was intending. I went off the rails a little bit. Temporary insanity, kind of basic defense. You know what I'm saying? But like if you have that plus I don't know, armed robbery or shoplifting from way back, but like of a petty larceny that establishes a pattern, I guess is what I'm trying to say with that.
Yeah, I definitely agree. I mean, it's such an interesting situation. I Unfortunately, when it comes with a lot of things that are bad in the sport, comedy is something that a lot of people rely on. And, it sucks to say that I have been laughing at some of the things that have been said. I mean, shout out to 10-7 for coming in here and dropping a nasty bar. I mean, who is not trying to run their wife over in reverse and then try to get, yeah, so
Yeah.
it sucks because it's so cartoonishly outlandish for somebody that you don't really think of. This is not John Jones. This is just a guy that was also a pioneer who had, suffered his own amount of damage in the sport more than a lot of people do. This is, again, when it comes to the equality from the referees, this is one of those guys where it's like, nah, he's a warrior. You got to give him extra time. It's like, okay, well, here's your evidence. Here is what you get, Yamasaki, and whatever you want to say.
Well, and that's certainly another part of the conversation. Is could you shout out that podcast guy that you were watching last night? Do you remember the
The
name of
open
that?
mat, the
The
open
Open
mat
Mat.
podcast.
Yes, the Open Mat. Shout out to the Open Mat podcast. That guy was
Or show. I'm sorry if we said it wrong, but the open mat is what it is. So excuse us, brother. You need to come on the show. Point
yes, we
ends
would
there.
love to have him on because he seemed like a really intelligent guy who was making a lot of good points. And he was discussing the CTE aspect of things. I thought what he was saying was pretty spot on with that. How much of it plays a part here. It's hard to say just off rip, but we've been like again, it's the same thing I've been talking about with a couple of these fighters, where I say like it's a perfect storm situation potentially because you've got so many negatives that could all be playing a factor. You've got drugs and alcohol, you have post career, hopelessness or aimlessness rather, like where you don't know what to do with your life, even though this guy kind of had a path, which makes it a little bit more annoying as well. But you have post career, you've got potential CTE, you've got drug and alcohol abuse, and then you also just have who you are as a person underneath all of that. So there's a lot that goes into it. Hard to say, but what I contributed on your show was that CTE affects people very differently. Like not the people like a Justin Gaethje, who has been coming up in the conversation a lot, takes a lot of damage, that kind of thing. Like those people may not have any CTE effects, while a fucking Jafel Filio might end up getting CTE. It's like you can't tell. There's physiological aspects of it. It's a really a roll of the dice. So, but the bigger point I think that was also made is that as time goes on, the sport is still very new. This is another thing that shout out to the Open Mat was saying this, and I thought it was a great point. This is still a very young sport. Situations when it comes to CTE and post-fight, aimlessness are going to become more and more prevalent over time, especially since the UFC does nothing to help their fighters after their careers.
No, that's something that we're gonna have to work towards, and we talked about it on my show as well. It's gonna have to be something that is so severe that they have to take charge and do something about it. So it sucks that we've gotten here, but I think what I think the point is that this is only the beginning of something that could be like a lot worse, and this is already bad. It could have been even like you guys don't even know what this could have been.
Oh, well,
So.
and I had said that too. I'm amazed that this was not considered attempted murder. I mean, based on
Hmm.
the details of the situation, I mean, he tried to run his wife over with a vehicle. That's assault with a deadly weapon, potentially. Yeah,
Twice.
twice, two times. I mean, I don't. That's pretty well clear cut to me. I mean, what else could your intention be? You're trying to run her over. That's usually how you kill someone.
Yeah, and forgetting if so when they were kicked out of this, bar, I just how did it get to him wanting to run her over is really just like also I feel like a thing that's missing in the story here.
Well,
Like how did it get to that point?
and that's what I was saying a little bit about with the repeat offender aspect of things that could play a factor is that if he doesn't have a record of any of this kind of stuff, he could say, we were arguing, she started hitting me, that kind of stuff could happen. And again, speculation. This is I don't know any of these to be actual facts, but this is just speculation on what could be said in his defense. We were arguing in the car. I just wanted to get her home. She was going crazy. She jumps out of the car. I was panicking. I'm drunk. I shouldn't have been driving drunk, but I was driving. Like you can hear this narrative being spun as I'm saying it out loud, and this is just one potential version of it. So that's all of those details are what still need to come out. And that's also another reason why I don't jump to cover these stories as quickly as some other channels might, because it's like obviously I want to talk about it, but I don't want to just be flying off the handle with speculation. I'd like more details to come out, and get a better picture of everything.
No, 100%. And 10-7 actually makes a really good point. And I think I have said this plenty of times, to 10-7's point, fighting is more crazy people from the jump than other sports. This is the sport where those people need to be gravitating towards at the end of the day. If they are going to be able to have a career, or at least they want to be able to have a community, this is where they need to go to express themselves. It's better than them going and beating people up on the street, and selling drugs and, doing all this stuff. So it is a double-edged sword, because you enhance all of these underlying issues, but you also are able to, deflect all those as well. So it's
Yeah.
crazy.
Absolutely. And yeah, I mean, not to get super philosophical about this, because I really don't think that it's appropriate to do so in this exact situation. But, we talk about mixed martial arts, especially at the highest level in the UFC, is a mirror of society. I would say that there is an apt comparison with this when it comes to the idea that, as a young person who is potentially not necessarily an aimless young person, not necessarily finding their way in life, sees the top level of the sport. I could be the next Conor McGregor. What you generally end up with 90% of the time is being middle of the roster. What that comes with is middle of the roster pay and all of the problems that still go on in your life. Anthony Smith even has a better situation than most. Same thing I said with Poirier, better situation than most, because he had an analyst job. Like, that's a coveted position within this space because there are so few of them. So it's like, what I'm saying to all of this is just like, you see the glitz and the glamour of being at the top, the highest level, get the pay-per-view points kind of thing. You see Connor on a yacht, or, it's Sean O'Malley in a Lamborghini or whatever. And as a young person, you might aspire to that. That's a very small percentage of what this sport actually is. The majority of the sport is middle of the pack guys making middle of the pack money, and potentially, putting their bodies and their brains on the line.
Yeah, it definitely is unfortunate, but it is the reality for Anthony Smith. He's going to have to deal with the consequences that come. I mean, and there should be some that come. It's just going to be interesting, like you said, of how the narrative is spun from here, because haven't heard any word from anybody on Anthony Smith's side. We just know that this is what has been reported, on behalf of his wife and some of the kids. Another thing I wanted to bring up, just because we've had a lengthy discussion about it. I saw a tweet, and obviously I didn't bring up the tweet because it was just a random, thing. And it was like, Smith's daughter has, come to his aid and said it wasn't gunshots. He broke a window or something. And I thought to myself what I said on the podcast: people be thinking they hear gunshots all the time, guys, but I didn't want to bring it up and be like, there it is. Look, there you go. That's so if that is true, if it's not, whatever. But if there is context that I saw, and it was like, that's interesting to see if somebody just like pulled that out their ass.
Yeah, well, that has now come up multiple times, I don't know if this is people impersonating the daughters or if it's actually them, because you say that, and also I believe it was Bleeding Edge in the Discord also said there was like a Reddit post, and it was apparently one of his daughters saying, he was trying to harm himself. He wasn't trying to hurt her, and obviously that seems to be provably false now, or at least based on what we know from the charges. So I don't know if they're just like trolls out there that are like impersonating his daughters just for the fucking lulz or whatever. But like I am very skeptical of anything that I'm hearing within like, the Reddit sphere right now when it comes to that. If his daughters want, I guess that's what I would say to it is, if his daughters want to make an actual statement, they need to go on a legitimate platform where they are like on video or something to say something about it. But I would very highly recommend against that. Just let this play out. It's obviously should be a private matter. Unfortunately, with the stature of Anthony Smith, you're kind of dragged into the spotlight unwittingly when it comes to that. But let it play out in the court. Let it play out in your personal lives. Like, just let the internet talk, and you focus in on your family is what I would say.
The 10-7 makes one more good point, dude. He's actually on
Yes.
it right now, so he makes
Cooking.
a great point. I think these are the cases where the old "I'd be dead or in jail without this" holds true. Maybe MMA saves them for a bit, and I do think you're making an absolute great point. I'd be, I wouldn't be here without this, without martial arts or whatever. We've seen Joe Pyfer has expressed like, a couple weeks ago, I almost, so I think other people, were quick to assume like, oh, he's doing this, obviously because he's got that girl now, he cheated on her, all that other stuff. But this is a case with Anthony Smith where maybe that's what people were, maybe there was an instance where that's where how he was feeling in that situation, and now he got to this point. So Joe Pyfer could have been on the other end of that, for example, just to throw out a name from recency. But Tony Ferguson, you brought up some incidents with him earlier on, like, there's just it is just a crazy sport where, again, adrenaline, emotions, and then when you mix all of that outside of the cage, it's insane. The sport is, it really is, it's down to a real primitive state at times, so.
Absolutely. We were just talking about that in McGregor Forever. Actually, I was, when I was doing the edit, I was looking over that portion where we were talking about how, taking it down to that base level, and yeah, I think you forget again. It's kind of what I was, partially talking about with the with when I was referencing the highest level of the sport and the bright lights and the glitz and the glamour kind of stuff. It's like you strip that away, and this is people punching each other in the head.
Yeah, and
So,
getting punched in the head, willingly. So
of
it
course, absolutely.
it is crazy, but that is sort of the tragedy, and maybe more can be said, but it's probably just rehashing what we had already gone over a couple different times individually. Do you have
Well,
anything else?
no, all I just if we were going to move on, I wanted to say two
Okay.
things. Number one, if you are not already subscribed to Chase Parton's channel, do so and watch his show, The Street Word, because it was a great episode about this and other things. And on that show, you were watching a little bit of the 10-7. So shout out to the 10-7 for being here. And, I thought that was cool to, see our worlds kind of interacting that way.
Yeah, and I hate that I got to him at the end of the show, but I do normally like to turn on the 10-7s live because for some reason when I'm trying to do street word, they're always live. They're always doing something. So makes
Absolutely.
great content. I appreciate them, of course. But speaking of goats, speaking of, people who are coming out here and doing their thing, making shit possible, dare I say, the MVPs of this organization, So here we are, guys. The merger is official. If you thought getting rid of the Bellator name was a bad one to keep PFL, well, good news. PFL just gave their shit up. They don't even care anymore. Just now we're MVP. Hell yeah, Jake Paul, you got us, right? I just want to initially say, like, it makes me so frustrated that, like, people say what they want about Jake Paul. You can have your own opinion about him, but these people have been running a shit promotion for like 20 fucking years, and now they're like, "Here's the keys, Jake Paul. Please save us, Jesus Christ. You didn't even perform for us when we had you in the PFL. You did no MMA. You got it, bro. You got it. You're good."
PFL in the modern era, specifically in the modern era, because PFL used to be World Series of Fighting and then became PFL. You can maybe extract that earlier portion. In the modern era, like at least like maybe right before the Bellator buyout and then through the Bellator buyout merger into now, the PFL will go down as one of the biggest failures in mixed martial arts of this time period. I have to say. I mean, they like Don Davis is a legend of sinking companies, it would seem, and I had a lot more hope for what's his name, the new guy, his name's escaping me right now, but John Martin, I believe is his name. I had a lot more like hope that he was going to be able to like right the ship. I mean, really, you're making the greatest point. It's like you have Don Davis basically like running the company into the ground. You get this new guy, John Martin, in who's hopefully going to maybe take the company into a different direction. And this is the different direction, right into the hands of Jake Paul, who already fleeced you after you were already fleeced by Francis Ngannou before him. No notes. Tremendous management across the board. Congratulations, guys. This is what happens when the Saudi money runs out.
I do find it interesting where we had all wondered, what could an MVP 2 card look like? This is a promotion that has one main card, like our main specific event. Like they have nothing else. They had nothing planned. They just did a one-time thing. And then we were all wondering what they could do from going from there. Well, they just have the PFL roster. They just bought
I
him
just
out.
I just buy the PFL, and now you got a whole new set of emotions here.
Because think about this, with one car, maybe Jake Paul obviously has a big hand in probably getting some money influx, but when it comes to MVP, with their one with their one card, they were able to just pay for the PFL. Like that, out of all the years and hard work that the PFL was able to come up with, they're
Well,
just like, what? Yeah.
I was just saying, do you think that it was all that like well, all right, well, let's take one step back. First of all, MVP does do boxing promotion as well, so
Hmm.
there might be some money from that. But my question was going to be like, do you think that how much of his own personal money do you think was going into this, Jake Paul, or is it all from the company? I mean, is it all just from the Netflix deal? I mean, like, what I would say too, just as a side point with this, and I'll let you answer that question, Chase. Um, Jake Paul has expressed, and I would say in kind of a positive way, that he legitimately is about this fight life. I mean, like he seems like he wants to be involved in this world beyond just the competition, and he's always been talking about fighter pay. Apparently, the payouts for MVP on that MVP 1 card were a lot better than you'd be seeing elsewhere. So I put all of that into perspective only to say how much of it is like his involvement, his push. Is it the company? Like, what do you think the makeup of all of that is?
See, well, I don't know how to answer that specifically, but the only thing that I can think about is you're talking about the fighter pay that they got on the MVP. It looked very nice on paper, it looked good. But Jake Paul being the character that he is, and probably as maniacal as all of them come, because he's getting this wealth by being a certain way. He's gotten here following the footsteps of all the other powerful leaders, whatever you want to say. Dude hangs out with fucking Trump. He probably was anyway. So listen, do you think Jake Paul is going to sit there and watch the PFL talent and say, I'm paying them guys 500,000 for that fight? No, he's going to look at them and say, I am not paying them. Are you serious? This is he. I don't know if Jake Paul actually keeps up with the PFL, because when you watch them, as 107 said, PFL fucking sucks lately. Like, dude, some of these cards, they went to Africa. Francis wasn't even there. He wasn't even there. Oh my
I was
goodness.
planning on watching it tomorrow just to check in and see where it's at now, and then this happens. So I'm like, I mean, do I wait till after all this takes place to, to check it out again? Like, what's the difference of how it is now? I mean, at the tail end, I mean, I don't know, but yeah, I know I don't like you make a good point. Like how like the talent level being where it's at, and then like you said, PFL Africa and Mina and all these other little things that they were trying to do that all have seemingly flopped as well, just flop after flop after flop. What about that makes it something that MVP really wanted to purchase in the first place? There are so many questions about this. Like, what was the impetus for this?
Yeah, I have no idea, man. This is a pretty crazy one, but it is official. I mean, MVP just taking over the name is pretty funny to me, because what PFL did with Bellator. I thought Bellator was a better name. When it was PFLator, I thought Bellator was a better one. They getting rid of that, I was like, why would you get rid of the cool thing? You got rid of the one that actually is good and like people can remember, and it's like, oh, watching Bellator, it sounds like something. You kept PFL, and I questioned that originally, and I'm like, why would you even? Why would you? And then now here we are. It's like a couple months later. They're like, fuck it, this shit sucks, bro. Just make us MVP, get us over with. Like,
Yeah, I mean, I that you probably have some validity to that as a thought process, because it's like, look, no one is watching PFL. I mean, very few people in the MMA space are watching PFL, if that. The quality of the fights are not great. Every tactic that they have tried in order to gain exposure and new eyes to their product has failed. They mishandled all of those endeavors with Francis Ngannou and Jake Paul, and then just the all of that Saudi money that was coming in when that stopped. Because I think that the Saudis have been pulling back on some of their investment initiatives when it comes to combat sports. Like, there might legitimately just have been like a conceit at the top level, like, yo, guys, we really are, we just need something fresh. We need to just change the look up over here. We need to change the makeup. MVP did pretty well on Netflix. That at least maybe gets us a little bit of an inroad with Netflix if we want that. Maybe the ESPN deal is coming to an end at some point soon. I think they were already saying that one of their products is on Vice now. So like, if all of these things are kind of happening around the same times and none of them were successful for them, there might have been a legitimate push to be like, we just need a fucking makeover.
yeah, I agree, and I don't think this is the worst one. I mean, listen, like you said with Jake Paul, he is very invested in the fight game. It's not just him being in competition; he's there to sell, and that's if he can sell what PFL. What I mean, listen, it's all about buying low, selling when it's high. Jake Paul just bought PFL when it is at its lowest, and it's going to be in the next year worth a lot more just because he's going to get the eyes on the sport. He's going to make people think that they want to watch Paul Hughes and like Usman
And
and Decheva and stuff.
that was like, I think there was is going to be the question, and also I think there is the answer as well. Is that, like, the question being, what does MVP gain from buying PFL aside from a roster of okay fighters at best, and a couple of maybe a couple of names like the Paul Hugheses and the Dakota Ditchavas. I would say that, maybe there's some idea that Jake Paul, this also goes to what 10-7 saying in the chat about the marketing. The reason that you're not watching PFL events is not because they're not marketing them. You don't care about the marketing because there's nothing there to market. So I think that maybe the idea might be that Jake Paul, with his social media influence, with, the network that comes with that, all the things that he has in place, maybe that there's a perceptional change that him and his organization can do to kind of make it seem like they're a little bit better. And maybe partially talent acquisition can kind of come through that as well. Maybe he's made enough inroads in that regard to like bring new talent into the promotion. These are all the speculations that I have, because really, aside from those things, I really don't see the purpose of this for either organ. Well, I mean, for PFL, yes. For MVP, no.
Yeah, well, I find it the thing that I find interesting is the navigation that Jake Paul has taken with PFL. Obviously, he used their name to build off a little boxing things, with and saying that he was going to eventually come over to mixed martial arts. He never did, and then he just ends up just becoming just a part owner of them. He's probably never going to compete in there. I mean, I think it is still once promised that he's going to compete still, now that he's part owner or whatever. But listen, if he gets people watching the PFL, he don't need to compete. He's done his part. He's a young business entrepreneur, whatever you want to say. I mean, so this dude's doing some good stuff if he gets the PFL some eyes.
Yeah, I mean, and I have been a person for, early on. I was on the hate train like everybody else. Like, even understanding. I think the same way that you look at Dana White is how I'm seeing like young Jake Paul over here, to an extent where it's like I recognize that he probably is as scummy as any other
Mm.
ones of the elites. He's in the upper echelon now. He has graduated to that level of corpo elitism that is beyond the average human being's understanding. Within that sphere, I certainly don't think that he is necessarily like a genius, but I don't dislike all of the ways that he has been at least presenting his bullshit to me.
I think that's another thing too. You bring up a great point. Like he's not some. I don't think he's some genius either. It's like just take somebody to go in there and do something that they're going to say, kind of deal. A lot of times people come in charge, and it's like you're talking about this John Martin dude. What has he done? What has he done? Let's be real. I mean, he did nothing other than just sell it off to Jake Paul. Like
Oh,
so, like
that's the hardest one of them all, those, because John Martin apparently was a dude who actually like knew MMA. Like, I think he was like a BJJ guy. Like, it was supposed to be what Don Davis should have been in the first place, or like that position. You know what I mean? It was like Don Davis was not the guy for it. John Martin actually seemed like he could have been the guy for it, but I think the company was so far gone at that point that maybe his hands were just tied. I don't know these are all, again, speculations from behind the scenes when it comes to this kind of stuff. So I don't know if that's actually the case, but it does hurt that John Martin didn't have, like, I think he inherited a bad situation and kind of his hand was sort of forced. The fact that it went to Jake Paul is kind of funny, but again, I feel like Jake Paul has been doing okay when it comes to some of this stuff. Like, MVP is not a bad promotion. They have a specific model currently, but if now they have a roster of actual like younger, more primed fighters, like, or can go out there and have the infrastructure to scout new talent, that maybe there's hope for it.
well, the thing that I think is unfortunate is, there's hope for it for sure because it's going to sell. Like, this is going to get eyes on the sport and it's not going to be the best competition, because obviously it's the PFL, it's a lower level than what you were expected to see from like the UFC, the boxing aside, of course. But when it comes to the MMA side of this, it's going to need some stellar matchmaking takeover. Like, they're going to have to start cooking. They're going to have to actually start finding somebody who can get two people that the styles match up and we get a dog fight, because I feel like in PFL I just never turn on and see two people like that just never want to give up. It's kind of just a rare breed, I would say, in PFL. But some people just get beat the hell on in PFL and then the other person just walks through them. Like, that's just kind of how it goes.
True. Yeah, and to that end, it is kind of funny to see now. I mean, now it makes a lot more sense. I'm sure that there was some conversation on the the back end about all of what was going on, and we just saw Robellis and also Saladin Parnasse get signed by the UFC. I'm sure that that was in anticipation of this. So some of their fighters who. I mean, now, granted, we didn't see them have to do this in PFL, but like some of their fighters who may have gotten into more like legitimate scraps get bought off, So it's like they're still fighting from an uphill battle when it comes to that, and we'll see if they're able to overcome.
Yeah, this is good. This is good. It's going to be fun to see the first MVP PFL card. I want to see. I think that's a obviously because when you watch shows, like when you watch sporting events and shows, there's a new season, there's a new era, This is a new era of the sport. When WWE went to Netflix, all the Netflix era. Here we are. MVP takes over PFL. Let's see what this new era of PFL looks like because I think it's gonna obviously boost like super big numbers. The instant that it starts, I think a
You
lot more
think?
people are gonna be watching it. Oh yeah,
Really?
they watch everything Jake Paul just talks about. What are you talking? Like look at the Tyson fight, dude. Come on, that dude
How
was
I
fucking 70 years old.
fair, but I mean, like that. There are, I think that there are extenuating circumstances when it comes to what Jake's already done. I mean, Tyson was an extenuating circumstance of that one. His opponents have been the extenuating circumstance. Now, when it came to the MVP one, Ronda and Gina. I mean, I don't like. I never even thought that that was going to do the numbers that apparently it did, but I guess it did. So, how's he going to replicate that if he's not part of the draw? It's like because the whole thing was for the longest time everybody waiting for him to get his ass kicked. That was the whole idea. Oh, surely this is going to be the guy that'll kick his ass.
I agree. We'll just have to see how it goes. I'm excited to see how the new era is, and if they make some good money and they continue to stay afloat, that is very good for Jake Paul because he just bought them at the lowest stock available.
True. Well, then this leads me to the question here. Do you agree with Carlos that in a year we're going to have I Show Speed and Kai Cenat fighting each other for a PFL belt
You know,
or
if that did
MVP belt? That
happen,
is.
if that did happen, that would be very, very good because at least they're doing some real stuff. They're in WWE right now, and they may be champs later. Who knows? But as of right now, if they go to PFL, I'm down for it.
Are
I'd love to
both
see
of
it.
them are in WWE?
Who was the other one? Kai? No, he ain't in it. Speed is though.
Okay, fair enough. All right. Well, then I mean, yeah. Look, I am not like against this. Honestly, I mean, I think that PFL was such a sinking ship for so many years that it felt like it was just circling the drain. This could be a good thing for them. Yeah, the MVP one card was not the worst thing that we've ever seen. I don't think that it'll be anything like the MVP card though. So I think that that really, I guess, is what I land on is I'm not knee jerk reactioning in a negative way to this. I need to see what the actual product is like. So MVP MMA, welcome to the space. And we I guess we're gonna need to get shirts made that said we survived PFL tour.
I love that. That is a good idea. But speaking of other things that I love, I think what did you say? Mission successful. You said something like that. There is something else that was a successful thing that we got sent to us, and this is where we're going to open up. Carlos, hey, I appreciate you for being here. We have some things that you sent us that we're going to talk about real quick,
All
and
right.
this first one. I don't know why it's pretty funny to me, but so potentially have you guys noticed Cristiano Ronaldo is getting married, and he may have invited a couple different people for his wedding. Here he is with Conor McGregor, chiseled up at that's probably the bare knuckle or something. And here's him with Habib. He's probably taking pictures with plenty of people, plenty of fighters. So who's going to the wedding, and is it going to be Team Habib or Team McGregor? You let me know,
No,
guys.
I mean, I think that really what needs to happen is it needs to be both. And that would be the greatest wedding of all time right here for us at least, not for them.
Well, Cristiano Ronaldo makes enough money and has enough money that he could host McGregor Habib too for his wedding.
Just at the wet privately.
Yes, exactly.
Nice. I like this as an idea. Yeah, on the dance floor they just bring a cage out, have the 3 rounds, and then I guess it has to be 5 rounds. It's got to be a champion. It got it's the Ronaldo belt on the line.
Exactly, the Ronaldo wedding belt, the RWB, whatever. Yeah,
I,
so sounds like a boxing belt, literally. But this is funny because this is the shit that ends up on MMA feeds sometimes. Like I want you guys to just pay attention that sometimes if you tailor your algorithm correctly, you could get funny stuff like this all the
well,
time.
and I mean, just thinking about it a little bit more seriously, serious. I don't know, quote unquote, seriously. I mean, does could this end up affecting the relationship between Ronaldo and either of these guys if one of them gets invited and the other one doesn't? You know, I mean, like all of a sudden it's like because I mean, look, we were just talking about the fact that Connor and Habib still to this day hate each other as much as they ever did. They would still take shots at each other if they were in the same place at the same time. Things would not be well. It would not go well. So that being said, you either invite both of them and just hope for the best, which I don't think is going to happen. You invite one of them and the other one gets pissed off, or you invite neither of them and then I mean, now both of them might be mad.
Yeah, I mean, it just listen, when you're so rich, you obviously have to slide the wedding invitation under the McGregor's door and the Nurmagomedov's door. He traveled all the way to Dagestan to the Abdul Manap's camp. You know, he literally wanted to make sure that his bro got to see him at the happiest in his life. You know, all those soccer winnings, football and stuff. You know, who can really talk about that other than the true testament of love? And Habib knows all about this. Look
Well,
up who he's married to.
I'll leave that one alone. But no, I think that really, if you wanted to test the friendship aspect of, you were just talking about how Ronaldo has, so much money, right? You want to know the real homie thing to do in a circumstance like this? Have two weddings. You have two
Hmm,
weddings. You have a wedding in whatever I don't
Ireland.
yeah you have I guess you have a wedding in Ireland, sure, but I mean like I guess just like a play. Could you have a wedding in Russia if you're not from Russia? I guess is the guy
She would have
probably
to
yeah.
change her attire, I would say, probably.
True. Yeah, you have it in Dagestan. That would, I mean, honestly, I'd kind of give Ronaldo some respect if he went over to Dagestan and had the wedding there. That'd be kind of
Yeah.
interesting.
You know what's funny too? Money rules the world. Everybody acts like they're all high and mighty. If Cristiano Ronaldo came with $1 billion and said, "I'm going to marry my wife in Dagestan," you think they're saying no? No, hell
Oh
no.
no, I don't think he would even need the money for that. I would just be worried about the security. But I mean, yeah, you have as much money as Ronaldo. You're getting married wherever the hell you want. But there you go. I think that you could have, you do it like how a lot of these rich people do. You have a wedding season, so it's like you have a wedding ceremony over here, you have a wedding ceremony over here, you have a third one. You just have a whole month full of wedding, and you can have Connor at one of them and Habib at another one, and never the twain shall meet.
Well, that's true. I think Cristiano, being best friends with these guys, obviously he sat next to him at a game and he took a picture with one of them. He's best friends. They're going like the wedding invitation is valid, but he would know that there's beef. You know, he would invite Connor to the after party because and then Habib would be at the the early reception or whatever. Because he's going to be very respectful. Connor, you bring him to the after party, and
Well,
yeah.
and that goes to 10-7's point, dry wedding in Dagestan if they were to have it. So,
Oof.
that yeah, that's not great for anybody. So yeah, I mean, I think that you're making a lot of sense. Habib at the ceremony, he can be as stoic and solemn and stone-faced as he always is there. And then Connor is the life of the party at the actual party.
No, this would be a really good tagline, Carlos. Cristiano Ronaldo buys Dagestan for his wedding. Just buys the whole country.
I mean, everything's got a price, right? I think it could happen.
Yeah, I definitely think it could happen too. But if you guys didn't know anything that could happen like this, I'm going to show you something that happens every single time after this person fights. Carlos, shout out to you for another good clip because, oh, hold on, I didn't actually start it. Here's Patty. And is this guy, I think he's just speaking a
Speaking in
different language.
Spanish, yeah.
But either way, so here's Patty, just a couple of different clips. Well, we'll see if we can pause it here. You can see how chunky this dude has gotten.
Another
And
time that the weight has yo-yoed. Apparently, every time that this guy is out of camp, it seems that the weight just balloons up to these ridiculous proportions. And really, like what I say about this, I mean, obviously, as a professional athlete, it's not necessarily very becoming when visually. I don't care about any of that. This cannot sustain. This is an unsustainable behavior for him. Like I'm glad that he's getting away with it at the age that he is at. When he hits his like 30s, I would say he's going to be like in a whole world of pain if he's trying to do this consistently.
well, I think he's getting away with it right now is what you can hang your hat on. But it's obvious that one point there's going to be one bad weight cut that's going to fuck him over. Like it only takes one, and then he's going to realize like why would I do that? Like why would I do that every time? That was so stupid of me. I injured myself by cutting so much weight, and I got out of I talked about Armin Sarukian, and then I injured myself with a weight cut. Interesting how that would work. But
Right.
so I think you're right. I mean it is not just like he gains it in the belly. Like it's literally his entire body becomes he's like if you look at his hips and shoulders, like obviously his face, like he's not even angular anymore. Like you would see this dude on the street and not recognize him as the fighter, you know, like that's the crazy part.
Oh, for sure. And, Hydra coming in talking about, the eating disorder element of this. You're saying he'll have an eating disorder in the future, Hydra. He has an eating disorder now. And I only say this because Paul Felder actually talked about this in detail at one point. I forget what video it was. It might have been an MMA on point video that he was talking about this, or they used a clip of it. But Felder was saying that he went through very similar things here, where it's like, you're in fight camp, you're in this locked in mode, you have a singular focus, you're denying yourself. You have to have this discipline, this regiment for all of that, especially Patty also having to cut all of that weight to get down to even fight camp ready and then cut the actual weight. You know what I mean? Like that's a crazy thing to me, because I mean, he can't be training like this, I would suspect. I mean, I think he probably has to slim down, then go into camp. That would be my speculation, at least. But the point is that like when you're in that mode, like you have that singular focus of the fight. After the fight, you finally feel that release. It's like, okay, the fight is done. Now I can treat myself. And then, it's you yo-yo basically. It's like, okay, just one slice of pizza turns into 5 slices. You're eating ice cream and all that kind of stuff just to reward yourself for having done all that previous stuff. It's a vicious cycle that they are all already in if you have that kind of tinge in your brain.
Yeah, this one, it's definitely just not good for Patty. I don't know why this is. The eating disorder thing is interesting too, because one major injury where he cannot work out is going to destroy him. He's going to be, you guys look at Jamal Hill, I mean, and it ain't even that. It's bad, but it's like literally just his belly. Patty could become like a 300-pound man if you give him 2 months without working out.
Did you see the video of Jamal Hill memeing on his weight when he
Yes,
was
I
like,
did.
I mean, brother, and I know that this is not the subject of this right now, but since you brought it up, Jamal, like you can't meme your way out of how you look like that. Like it's like we're not laughing at that. We're all looking at it like, damn, bro, you're fucking up right now. I mean, at least the way that I look at it anyway. I'm like, because he's trying to make it this joke about, oh, I'm a heavyweight now, and look at me, you can't get your legs around this. It's like, bro, you can't move. Like
Yeah.
we already saw him like that too. So anyway, yeah, I mean, it's a tough thing because again, like, I understand that cycle that people go through, and wanting to give yourself a little bit more on the other side of it. But you got to have I would say that there has to be just like a middle balance, and it's balance. The theme of balance, we've talked about this in the McGregor Forever as well, is something that Conor has none of in his life. Balance in your life, I think, would benefit a lot of fighters. And it seems like, imbalances are very prevalent.
Well, speaking of balance, we can roll into this next one. I mean, when you are the greatest of all time in the sport, you know who I'm talking about when I say the GOAT, you obviously have to have a nice side because there's obviously the other sinister side. But here's Patty the Batty with John Jones earlier on in their careers, of course. And then I think this is a video of the meetup where they get to reunite. So if you're ready, we'll go ahead and turn this on.
By all means, play it, Chase.
What's happening, big man?
Get that out of here.
Oh, are we? You good, fella? Yeah, man. Custy.
Nice to meet you.
Yeah.
Great personality, great fighter. Absolutely a fan. I'm more of a fan of Fat Patty. I like that.
Sorry, I had to pause it there. See, he's entertaining the idea that Fat Patty's okay. He's cruel, He's not actually. And there you go. Sorry.
Yeah. Oh, that, and also, it's funny. Nice to meet you. They're standing right next to each other. Obviously, he was much younger, but still, it's kind of funny. It's like, hey,
Right.
we did meet.
Yeah.
I got a picture with you in 2010 or 11, lad. I'll have to try and find and send it. I'm like that. You know what I mean? I was in Birmingham at the Fan Expo in the UK.
Oh, no way.
See on there, I got a picture because it's the same weekend I got a picture with Bruce Butler.
I'm proud of you, dude.
You know that, fella. Thank you very much.
Everyone loves you, Patty.
This is how I make weight, lad. This man right
Oh, that's the nutritionist.
Yeah, these be S&C coach nutritionist.
You don't want to hear about Fat Patty then.
Yeah. I was with DC the other day, playing both sides.
No, it's okay. I got no problem with DC. Hey, I won.
Yeah. I met John Jones in like 2010. Nice to meet him. I felt like I was playing both sides there because DC's me boy as well, but nothing to do with us. John Jones is one of the greatest of all time, lad, so it's a pleasure to meet him and have a chat with him there.
Do
All right.
you think that nutritionist is akin to Connor's orthopedic surgeon?
Yes, absolutely. So when everything goes to shit, they're gonna look at him like, "What did you let him do, brother?"
You were by his side through all of this, through everything that we've seen, through every pack of McDonald's that this dude goes through. I mean, he's the one that's out here making those videos about like his diet out of camp, and it's like, 5 Big Macs and fucking, 10 fries and all of this shit, doing like mukbangs basically. Crazy.
And then John Jones, of course. I like Fat Patty. Like, dude, you're why don't you pass on good things to the youth of the sport? You
He
know?
has nothing good to pass on to any human being. There's nothing good in there.
Yeah, true. You're right. I mean, the only thing that's in there is an acceleration to drive over some other people, but that's fine. It's just how it goes in this world. But Patty the Batty, getting this full circle moment, this was probably pretty cool for him. So
Oh
I like
yeah.
it.
Yeah, no, I mean
Um,
that's yeah, and I guess the one other thing that I would say is that it is cool that Patty, at like being of the generation that he literally is a person that at that young age was already interested in martial arts, already interested in becoming a fighter, and went out there and fucking did it. So I really got a lot of respect for that.
Well, what's crazy is you just brought up the next segue. You're speaking of being young and invested in martial arts. If you guys remember, there's this Mexican fighter. His name is Raul Rosas Jr., and he started this sport very, very young. Well, did you guys know that he has an older brother?
There
So
is another.
yeah, so this one is interesting because I love this. I love this page too because like it's just another like they post fight news stuff and it's normally pretty accurate. But I love like per the UFC database, like they were searching this shit. Like we found another Rosas, guys. Like they know where he's at in the PI. They found his little pod. Like they know the cell number or whatever they got for him. So Jesse Rosas, 8-1. Yeah, he's the older brother, I would say, right? 23. So Rose still only 22, maybe, or 20. Maybe he's 24 or something like that. I don't
I don't. Yeah, no. I couldn't say. They must be somewhat similar in age. So one or the other, I guess. But yeah. I mean, somewhat interesting. I would suspect. What I say is that this guy making his debut is going to be more active than his brother.
Yeah, absolutely. And he's 8-1, bantamweight, of course, just like his brother. His last opponent was 23-10. That's some good experience that he beat right there. But most likely going to be on the contender series. That's normally what this matchmaker page, excuse me, has been providing for me. When I see their posts, it's normally like Dana White contender series matchups. So this one will be interesting. We'll see another. We'll see if there's any other bantamweights that are kind of lingering in the prospect pool or whatever when this dude starts posting. But yeah, I did not know he had a brother, excuse me, and he had never mentioned it, has he? Like I don't know. I feel like this is never a thing that he
Yeah,
talked about.
no, I don't think so. And I mean, maybe we saw him on one of his little podcasts that he was doing with his friends there. I mean, I do remember watching one of those at some point. I might have watched it on stream. I
Mhm.
maybe, but he might have been there, and maybe we just didn't recognize that he was the brother or whatever. But yeah, this guy kind of coming out of nowhere.
Yeah, this will be fun. I mean, he may not live up to the hype of his brother, but and obviously you know that in sports, especially in MMA, there's one brother who's good, there's one that's not necessarily as good. What if he's the good one? Think about that.
That would be kind of crazy. It
The
certainly would be.
the one that takes it serious, he wants to be what his older brother couldn't be or younger brother wasn't, whatever you want to say, wants to be the role model. This could be interesting. What if he's good, guys? What if he is good? You know?
10-7 saying that he's not, saying Raul might be the better one, but
Oh,
uh, I don't know. Well, I guess we'll find out. But speaking of the chat, let me shout the chat out real
yeah,
quick. I
true.
saw that CTE came in. Appreciate you, brother. Thank you for being here. If you have the pea soup picture, by the way, if you can post the link, that would be great. We could bring that up. You know that picture, Chase. You know what we're talking
Uh-oh.
about with the pea soup. Yeah, if somebody has that picture, go ahead and throw it in the chat. And
Pea
Beeb was
soup.
here.
Okay.
Yeah, hell yeah, you'll see. But and Beeb was here as well. Beeb, appreciate you, my brother. Good to see you again, man. It's been a little while, so hopefully you are well.
True.
Hydra as well. All everybody in the chat. You guys are awesome. Thank you.
Absolutely. If we missed you, comment right now and say you missed me. But either way, I miss you all. Either way, this is fun for Raul Rosas. I mean, him having a brother, and obviously he had to pull. He's got the strings to pull now. He's a big enough star, and he's not active enough, and they fucking love him. So why not get his brother in here? This should be fun. Shout out Mexico.
How many times though have we seen the other brother come in recently and just flop though? What was it?
Herbert
Shabazian's
Burns.
Yeah, Herbert Burns, Shabazian's brother. I mean, the Bonfim that just lost. I mean, he's been around for a little while, but I mean, we've seen this pattern over and over again. So if we're hearing that this Jesse Rosas is not the better of the two brothers, then I don't know, might not be the greatest track here.
Well, speaking of not being the greatest track, I mean, if you guys remember at a time, this person that we're going to talk about next was the champion of the world. I'm not going to tell you what weight class because I want your mind to wander right now. What do you think about when I say champion of the world in the UFC, and where do you think they should be if they were just a champion in this fiscal year? Well, I can tell you where they're at. Wrestling Tyron Woodley in RAF, Hamzat Shemaev versus Tyron Woodley in Moscow, September 5th. So,
I'm so glad that you're bringing up RAF because this is something that we've talked about in the Discord, and this is a perfect time to say this. RAF is going down the path of like just really. I feel like they started off with such a great concept and a great avenue for legitimizing freestyle wrestling for such a wide audience of underserved individuals, right? Because really, at least in the United States, I'm sure elsewhere maybe it's different, but in the United States, high school and college, that's where you see freestyle wrestling. And then after that, in the Olympics, I guess you can also put the Olympics in there. But aside from those areas, freestyle wrestling is kind of non-existent to the average public. They were building a platform to bring that to the masses in a way that could be like a generational shift for that sport. What do they do with it? They basically take a whole bunch of MMA stars, jam it into that, take all of them, jam them into their events, and just slop it up. I mean, they having these people fighting at the events now, the fights breaking out, people getting tossed off the platform. They are turning this into a circus, and it is so unfortunate for people who are into freestyle wrestling.
I do actually agree with what you're saying. Hulk Hogan wanted this to be a legitimate freestyle wrestling promotion with the promos of WWE. And what this has become, because, and what we will talk about more of this in a minute, of course, but MMA is a superior art form of martial arts. When you have the ability to do them all, it obviously is a more beneficial thing. So when you mix martial artists like the UFC guys into RAF, and they are able to participate in a very nonchalant way, they're not taking it very serious. They are, but they're making a mockery of what it should be. They're making it. Very unprofessional, and I feel like there's people out there who really didn't want it to be like that. Colby Covington is one thing, but he takes the wrestling to it like seriously. He's not throwing somebody off of the fucking platform. He's not having the Muslim Brotherhood attack 30 fucking people with all 50 of them. So it is interesting that this is where we're at with Hamzat Shemaev, of course, but when it comes to RAF, it's not a good look to continue just doing shit. And what even is this matchup? Tyron Woodley and Hamzat Shemaev. Does anybody have anything to say? Enlighten me if Tyron Woodley has any fucking dog in the race of wrestling with Hamzat Shemaev.
Yeah, no, I mean, he has a wrestling background. He wrestled with Ben Askren and stuff. So, I mean, he does come from a collegiate wrestling base, even though he didn't really use it as effectively in mixed martial arts. But again, secondary and irrelevant. It is purely because people remember his name. It's the same reason that he fought Jake Paul, basically. I mean, RAF is copying the same model of taking these people, bringing them into the fold here because they're attracting eyeballs based on name recognition. They're not building their own stars. The closest they had to doing that was that what's his name, Giorgio or whatever. The take me down for $1,000 guy or whatever.
Oh, yes.
Yeah, he's I don't even know if he's still in it or not because I think that he was having some legal problems or something. But I mean, I don't know if that's true or not. I know that he had some issues, but either way,
he got into an altercation at like a wedding or something, didn't he?
Yeah, something like that. Did he send somebody through a table?
That's what I think it was. Yes.
Yeah. So
the ex or something, or maybe it was the husband. Maybe I don't remember. Either way,
just choke slamming people through tables at weddings. Good Lord, Ronaldo, do not invite that guy. Keep that guy away from your wedding.
True.
But yeah, I mean, it's just unfortunate. And so I mean, to take it back to the MMA side of things, what you're talking about with Hamzat, this is a fucking side quest the same way it is for Armin or anybody else. This is inconsequential nothingness for all of these guys. It's freestyle wrestling. They don't have to worry about getting struck. The worst that you're going to get is beat by pinfall. You know what I mean? Whatever, you're gonna get tech fell. It's not really like something that's gonna like matter in the grand scheme of things. For RAF, it's a little bit of a name recognition bump, and that's it. After you stop doing this, or when you can't do this anymore, the value of the promotion is just going through the toilet, because you're not building your own platform. You're taking other people's shine and trying to capitalize on it. It's a short-term strategy that has no long-term gain, I would say.
Yeah, yeah, but Bleeding Edge right here, he's standing up for it. He's loving the stuff that they got going in RAF, and maybe other people are as well. I figured that this was, the family demographic is eating that shit up. I figured that this would have been the family friendly style, that they were wanting. But if you're telling me that they're interested in what Marab and Armin, dude, Hamzat's he's gonna do something stupid. It's coming. Come on, or he's not gonna do something stupid, and Woodley will, and then 50 fucking Muslim guys try to jump him. So that's basically what's gonna happen, more or less.
Yeah, and just to address that point as well about like the family aspect of it, the family demographic, there probably is a good amount of that. What I would counter that with, though, is that demographic has to be the most steadfast viewers, consumers, and purchasers of this product, like at a consistent pace forever, for this promotion to be sustainable thereafter. Because that demographic is what I would say. I mean, like, they're probably going to be, it's not 100% across the board. I'm sure that there are, like, kids that are in high school and college that, maybe that's the reason that they're interested. But the family specifically, I would count them as a little bit wishy-washy. I don't think that they're necessarily going to be like consistently going to every single event, or or watching every single event, or following the sport as closely as you would need to build a dedicated core audience to sustain this well into the future. That would be my thought, at least my suspicion with that.
Yeah, I definitely get what you're saying. RAF, the main thing that they need to do is just keep making, keep garnering attention from it. Obviously, a matchup like this, we're talking about it. It's something that people will tune into if they have that Fox Nation app or whatever. Getting eyes on the product is always a good thing, but I just don't know. I still haven't caught a live RAF event, but I do really think it's something that I can do.
Well, I mean, now that you're not doing Zuffa boxing anymore, man, some free time just opened up for you.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, speaking of, in the spotlight, trying to make names for yourself, one dude we've talked about him a couple different times going into this next story, but you're not going to believe who I'm actually going to give props to. And when you see the video, I mean, obviously, I'm not giving him props to what I've seen in the video, but I will give the props where it is due that our guy, Dean the Great, he is once again, his stream is in the high, on the topics or whatever. So this is an interesting stream where Bobby Green actually shows up to the boxing gym. So if you
Okay.
haven't seen any of these clips, we'll run a few down.
Yeah,
And
just
this
before
is
you
yeah, go ahead.
start this, I did want to say Bobby Green apparently has been making the rounds when it comes to boxing, because I believe, don't quote me, but I'm pretty sure I'm correct about this. Apparently, him and Adrian Bronner got into it not too long ago, where I think that they were like, Bobby wanted to spar him, and Bronner was like, "Nah, man, we're supposed to be boys. Like, you shouldn't be coming around to the gym like that, or whatever." Like, I saw at least like an image that had that as the text. So I can't 100% confirm that, but I think that Bobby Green, I guess, just somehow popping up in a couple of these. Interesting to see him with our old pal Dean here.
Well, you are already in the loop of a lot of things, so get ready for an interesting moment here. So we
Okay,
obviously got a couple of different ones to run down. So we'll run down this. You may see this a couple different times, but this is just the first one that I saw. So we'll run
gotcha.
this down.
All right.
Now, airballing. Shut up. Shut up. Shut up. Shut up. Shut up. Shut up. Now, shut him up, right? Shut him up.
So there's that one, obviously Bobby and his true form or whatever. And then we obviously get
Is there no sound to this one?
You can't hear this one?
No.
Definitely I'm hearing it on my end. But you heard this one? Hold on. You can hear this?
No, the sound is just me. I mean, I don't know. Chad, can you guys hear it and I'm not hearing it?
Interesting.
'Cause, yeah, I heard the first one, but then it like when you went to the second one, I couldn't hear it.
Let's see.
Yeah, no, you're hearing it now?
Yeah, I'm definitely hearing it.
Is it on the same? Is it on the same page, or is it like on the same? Like, you're playing them from the same page?
No, it's on 2 different tabs.
That would change to the other tab. That's what it is.
Yeah, no, I'm on the tab. Yeah, this is this video. Yeah,
Oh.
it's if you just don't have sound, that's
Yeah, I don't know because I can hear you.
Let's stop it and then let's start it back. We'll go again. Okay. Now we're. Why is it not?
Sorry, now I got you here.
Oh, okay. Yep. And
Bob, you ain't never seen a nigga like me. Bob.
Okay, let's go ahead and start it over. Sorry about that briefly, everybody.
Bob, you ain't never seen a nigga like me. Bob. I thought the next one. Nope. Shut up. Shut up. Shut up. Shut up. Shut up. Shut him up, right? Shut him up.
Bang, come on.
Come on, man. Oh. Shut up. What's that? Come on, what's that? What's happening, nigga? What's up? Oh, don't take that with you.
This is on dumb shit. Let Cub be on dumb shit.
There we go. Now we fighting. Now we getting warmed up. I'm a savage. Yeah, I got it.
You want to say sorry? Yeah.
No, I just the way that Bobby is acting, it's like he's fighting a non-fighter, and he's acting like this is some grand accomplishment, bro. Yeah, you never seen someone like me. Brother, you're a trained mixed martial arts fighter. You're fighting a fucking kick streamer.
Well, to be fair, they are saying this dude is a 19-1 amateur boxer.
Okay. Oh,
so,
that is wait. Oh, so is that Dean here? Is that the guy?
This is Dean right here.
Okay. Oh, so okay. So, my bad. He used to have long hair, did he not?
Maybe. I'm
Maybe.
not sure.
I don't know. I thought that. Yeah, I didn't recognize him. Okay, fair enough. So he's watching this amateur boxer, and this boxer is not being able to touch him.
Yes. No sound on the second bleeding edge. It still doesn't have sound for you?
No, you're good. You should be good now. I think that's probably what before.
Gotcha.
Nigga, relax. Come here. Come here. Come here. Come here. Come here. Shut up.
He ain't got nothing. He ain't doing shit but just talking.
Where's the rounds go? Watch. You're just cheating ass nigga.
So this guy's not striking at all. Bro, throw a shot.
Well, that's what boxing is, unfortunately. It's just defense, and he's not very good at it, clearly. But either way.
Found that out the hard way.
Oh, nigga, you missed it. You missed it, bitch. Come on, nigga. Come on, nigga. I'm gonna earn it. Nigga, earn it.
Nothing.
Shut up.
Nothing.
Shut up. Get your bitch ass. Shut up. No, bitch ass nigga missed it. Nigga, head up.
and we'll obviously watch a little bit more of this, but yeah, so obviously people are making the point that all these boxing guys, they're watching this and they're like,
well, okay. The other thing that I wanted to say then too is that if this guy is 19-1 pro boxer here,
amateur.
Okay, even more to my point, who has he fought? I mean, you know how boxing is, dude. I mean, like you take a lot of fights, like you get these like inflated records. It seems a lot of people seem to go into boxing and then drop off. So it's like, I would suspect that this guy, even at 19-1, does not have a frame of reference for a fighter like King Green.
But they're boxers, brother. It's the sweet science, You should be able to beat a guy with his hands down, right? This is Adrian Bronner's gym, buddy. This is his protege.
Oh, man. Now I know why Bronner was so upset.
Yeah. So,
okay.
Well, that was a while ago. The one that you're talking about. I'm pretty sure that was at the party with Tiki where they got into it.
Okay.
Where they started talking about that. But we'll continue. There's more clips of Adrian where he's acting dumbfounded, apparently, like, MMA guys can strike, so we'll just continue on.
Sure.
This nigga said bong bong. What's the bong bong at? Shut up. Airball. You sorry at your own shit. No. You sorry at your own shit.
Nothing. You ain't doing shit but talking like a hoe. Stay your ass in that pit. Stay your ass right here. Stop talking.
I ain't been hit yet.
Nigga, talking don't win fights, nigga.
Great advice. You didn't realize that, Dean. I told you you ain't never met a man like me. I'm ready to die. It's different.
I'm definitely not ready to die.
Niggas doing an electric robot. Niggas was doing a robot. Airball.
Let's work. Let's go. Let's work.
We
He supposed to knock me out. This nigga supposed to knock me out. This nigga 190. I'm fucking.
That's good work. You just fucking with him. I'm crazy nigga. Come on. No, bitch.
Okay, so continue on before we move on to the next one.
I mean, I like, it's always funny to see someone get like clowned like that. Yes. But like, you see that he's an amateur fighter. He's wearing headgear. He's obviously not of the caliber of King Green, and King Green is making it seem like he's like, you know, doing like this world ending shit. It's like, dude, yeah, you're supposed to do this against a guy of this level.
Well, you know what's funny too is Bobby Green actually does have a pretty wicked little Philly shell if he when he really wants to, but you obviously can see that he's not taking this serious or whatever. And you know we'll watch this next clip, of course. Let's see. Make sure you have sound before we get into this.
Yes,
next one,
sure.
But, we'll start it here.
Niggas, there's only one me.
Okay, we're gonna start it. Yeah. So and then Bobby obviously, why is it so low res? I don't know, but either way, so Bobby obviously keeps going here.
Niggas, there's only one me, nigga. And he was like, hey, don't make real niggas like that. They only make the nigga like me every 10 years. They ain't you at first, bro. Since Ali ain't been around, ain't been a nigga like me.
I'm gonna stop talking to you, bro, because I wanna continue like liking you and being cool with you, bro.
Hey, that's how you feel, shit. I'm just saying. The thing is, all this whole time I've been going OG because we in the boxing world. And I respect you.
And I want to keep the respect.
But you 36. I'm almost 40. And I thought you was older than me. It's just you look older than me. Now I'm like, hey, hold on. I got some things in here too, OG. I'm saying, like, I'm not trying to disrespect you, but you treat me like a little kid and I'm older than you. And I got 20 years of experience too, sir. And so I'm treating you with respect. I call you OG and I respect you. But I'm like, you hush me like a little kid, and then I'm a 40-year-old man. I've been doing it for 20 years, and I go to every gym, they do the same shit. They put the headgear on, they put the gloves on, they laugh at me, and they pick on me, and they say, he gonna get knocked out. This guy don't come in here like this, and I'll make them all shut the fuck up. And they all walk along like this. And I walk around they motherfucking shit just like this.
He ain't do that to you. That's how he came in here.
You were saying bong, bong, bong. Niggas.
And then I do this. I walk around the gym. And then I do it just like this. That's pretty funny. You know, I really, other than like obviously MMA standards, boxing, like Bobby, nobody's really fucking with him because he gonna walk around their gym and do whatever he wants. They have nothing to say about it because he just whooped their boxer that they told him. But anyway, the funny thing is I really like the part he's like, I'm trying to give you respect. You know, I thought you was older than me. I'm almost 40 years old. You know, and I'm thinking like. That is true. If Adrian Broner think he's some boxer, bro, you lived the life. You was some boxer. You 36. He 40. Where are you at? Why aren't you in a
that? And the fact that Bronner does the same shit that Patty does. I mean, you see him right there. I mean, he's a fucking he's a meatball right now. I mean, he legitimately does that too. He's the exact same way where he yo-yos on the weight. So yeah, I mean, I see where Green is coming from with this. I mean, I guess, okay, what I'll say is that if that's the setup, if that's the way that they're approaching him with these like setup fights or whatever, where it's like, oh, dude, you know, you might be an MMA guy or whatever. And
we'll give you our amateur.
We'll give you the best that we got. You don't know, you're not gonna be able to handle this shit. If that's the case, then he does have some warrant in this. Cause it's like if they legitimately just put up some kid who, you know, is not on the level and it's like he's running circles around him or whatever, that's kind of shitty. But like if that is the setup where it's like, bro, you might have seen some shit in other gyms, but you ain't seen shit like this. Like, then okay, all right, you know what I mean?
And now he's walking around. They don't want to give him another opponent. You know, he obviously you see him sitting there like,
I didn't see him sitting anywhere. I saw him walking around like this.
Yeah, dude. Yeah, no, it's crazy. Yeah, but so this was a really funny thing. I did watch a couple of the clips. You know, there's a couple different angles of it, but hey. We need more of this, man. These boxers, they do get a little delusional, and I really find it funny. He's like, I do the same shit in all their gyms, and I walk around that bitch like this, you know. And it's like, man,
that's what I'm saying.
looking dumbfounded, like, man, he really walking around Adrian Broner's gym like this, man. What? He ain't doing nothing about it, you
Oh
know?
yeah,
So,
and that's, I mean, Bleeding Edge saying the same thing in the chat. You know, these boxers act like an amateur boxer would run circles around any MMA fighter. It's like, come on, man. I mean, you got to be a little bit keeping it in perspective. Boxers have a real weird, inflated sense of what that sport is. I think in the modern era, you know what I mean? Like back when it was just that, then fair enough. Or like when MMA was real young and it was, you know, fucking dudes just flopping around on each other, then maybe that was one thing. MMA has ran circles around boxing, and now MMA fighters are running circles around boxers. But that's also one last thing I wanted to say about this too. This is on Adrian Bronner's own Kick channel. So you mean to tell me that now we have boxing people doing kick streaming as well, doing IRL kick streaming? Oh my God, the IRL space is so cooked, as if it wasn't already, you know, like wasn't cooked from the beginning. But like, Jesus, dude.
but no, so this was great. Obviously, get to mix in something about the UFC because Bobby Green just in his fight trunks just showed up to Adrian Broner's gym and showed up their little amateur kid, which I think is really funny because yeah, you're right. Like that is the mindset that they would have. It's like, oh yeah, you think you're all big and bad walking here? We'll put up our amateur guy and he's gonna work you over. And then when he works over the amateur guy, they just sit around talking shit. Like, oh, come on, you beat an amateur dude. He had headgear on, you know, like so.
Yeah.
King Green, this was a major dub from him.
For sure. And I have to highlight this, is that's just too funny not to. Boxing is the tennis of combat sports. That is quite a statement. But yeah, no, I mean, does it track? I don't know. Chase isn't watching Zuffa boxing anymore.
Who's to say?
Yeah, you be the judge.
Jesus. But you know, speaking of being the judge and you know, who's to say, I think this next one, obviously, this is something that gets added to the list, and we're gonna have to look into this a little more. But if you guys did not know, Nate Diaz has an appearance in a movie.
What?
Oh, you don't know anything about this?
Oh no, this is that new Theo Vaughn movie? Really?
Maybe.
Okay, no, yeah. Because it's him and David Spade, right?
It did look like him. I don't know why everything's so low res today. Auto 422p. Jesus. Oh my goodness.
That's
you
all
see
you
the
get.
options.
Yeah.
All right.
Whatever the case may be. Okay. So this is like, it's like called Busboys or something like that.
Yes, it is.
This movie looks so trash. I'm sorry, because I know that David Spade's your guy, but like, I mean, I saw the preview for this and I was like, this has fucking stink bomb written all over it. But look, the previews don't say the whole story, so I'll go into it with an open mind.
Yeah, well, true. Now that you know that Nate Diaz is in it, it's obviously Nathaniel Diaz. Sorry.
Another film that, well, I mean, we will have to watch this for MMA on film now. Thanks, Chase.
You're welcome. Oh, let's find out together just how bad this is going to be.
Okay.
Don't look at these guys. Keep walking.
The fuck they doing?
Hey, guys.
What you doing here, bro? What's up?
Good afternoon. Hey.
Fucking know where you're at? Know where you're at,
What are you doing?
What you guys doing?
Bro, that's my aunt's car, bro.
Fuck you doing over here?
Hey, you know this ain't your fucking market, right? Get the fuck out of here.
These guys are upset about something, huh?
Pulling up like something, motherfucker.
What's
fuck
that?
you, motherfuckers.
Fuck out of here.
Fuck out of here, bitch. Fuck this car, bro. Fuck these fools.
Don't look at these guys.
Okay. What a scene.
Yeah, there was a weird little like edit in there. I don't know if you noticed that. I mean, I like key in on all of like the post-production-y kind of stuff, you know, I get into like the nuts and bolts of filmmaking a lot. But yeah, there was like a weird edit with the I think it is right around there, right? Where it's like, you know, this ain't your fucking market, dude. I think they had like some like ADR thing going on or something, but
it's because they couldn't actually say the words, probably.
I mean, this is actually some of the most coherent that Nate's been in a while, though. I mean, you can actually sort of make out what he's saying.
You could tell he's attempting to act.
He certainly is playing the part of a dude beating up a car and harassing these two guys.
Well, he's a market bully. You know, he just hangs outside of a market, apparently.
He's a market bully.
So,
you know, those guys who hang out in front of markets giving shit to the locals?
Exactly. You know, kicking their mirrors off and kicking their lights out. But, I mean, what a scene. What a cameo. How much do you think he made? I mean, what do you think this paid for the casino hotel that his brother's living in right now, or what?
Well, that's a little bit more touchy now, isn't it? Yeah, no, I don't know what the answer is as to how much he got paid for this little cameo, but obviously Theo Vaughn is is about as hardcore as an MMA fan gets. That's legit. You know, you can't really deny that. Theo Vaughn is he's, you know, Mr. First to the event. We all know that to be true. So it makes sense. He'd be in his movie.
I think we have to just watch it again, though, because I'm struggling to understand where's the joke.
There is no joke. I mean, the joke is that they're getting. I mean, I would assume that there's more to this scene than just this little clip. I hope. I mean, is this the end of it? Like, does nothing else happens? They just get harassed and then go into the store?
At the end, they just stand there and they look at him. I mean, they didn't say anything. There was a long break. Like, let's watch it again. Let's
also, if you're gonna play it again, listen for the little ADR thing that I'm talking about.
I think I know what you're talking about because it kind of skips at the end there. Like,
yeah.
Okay, so
all right, play it one more time.
Maybe this is from the trailer. I don't know.
Don't look at these guys. Keep walking.
The fuck they doing?
Hey guys.
What you doing here, bro? What's up?
Good afternoon. Hey.
Fucking know where you're at? Know where you're
What's
at,
up? What you
motherfucker?
doing?
What you guys doing
Bro, it's
here?
my aunt's car, bro.
Fuck you doing over here?
Hey, you know this ain't your fucking market, right? Get the fuck out of here.
These guys are upset about something, huh?
Pulling up like something, motherfucker.
what's
Fuck
up?
you, motherfuckers.
Fuck out of here.
Fuck out of here, bitch. Fuck
Car.
this car, bro. Fuck these fools.
Don't look at these.
Maybe I'm understanding it now because they did not walk from this car.
Oh, okay. So they're beating up on some random
so they're
their car?
beating up on. I think this dude says it's my aunt's car. So maybe that is the joke here.
Oh,
and then
okay.
Nate is just kicking the shit out of.
I mean, I got to assume that there's context that we are missing from the film. I would certainly venture to say.
Yeah, that's my aunt's car, bro.
And that's not one of these guys. So you're saying, you're saying that they're beating up on this dude's car, even though that he's with them.
The joke is that Nate Diaz is so stupid. He's like, "What the fuck's up?" and kicks and breaks the dude that he's with car.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. Fair enough. Well, the ADR thing definitely is when he says "fucking market." That is definitely it's like they clipped something weird there.
Let's listen.
Fuck you doing over here?
Hey, you know this ain't your fucking market.
You hear it, right?
They had to ADR because he can't say it, bro. That's totally what it is. Or maybe maybe it's that guy.
You know this ain't your fucking market, right?
You know this ain't your fucking market, right?
Yeah, that's pretty bad. That's pretty bad.
Well,
okay.
I mean, I guess we're gonna get to see the whole thing at some point now. Good catch, Chase. Add it to the list.
I love this comment from Carlos. The funniest thing is he wasn't acting. Yeah, no,
this legitimate, true. This is really they just set a camera up outside where Nate just hangs out, and he just happened to
his favorite market that he bullies people at.
Don't come to this market. This is where I sit in front of, and if you try to enter the store, the market owner must hate him.
True, exactly. You know, he pays all that rent and they're over here. The cart narcs, dude, he can't even do his job because Nate Diaz is stopping him, dude. It's crazy.
It's a damn shame. He's a menace.
But either way, so speaking of movies and MMA on film, this is just a segue into something else. Obviously, this is just a little taste before what you could be seeing in the next few years if Hollywood actually steps on the gas. Because, now hear me out. Think of a story where a man, where he goes to prison, and he comes back and he becomes a born again, UFC fighter. So obviously Daniel Rodriguez thinks that he is going to be getting a movie. He's going to be pitching this to Hollywood is what he thinks he should be doing because they need to make a movie out of this. And, nice. I mean, it might be a fun story, but it actually is interesting because there's always that random one movie or like documentary that like was made about a sport that you weren't really familiar with. And you're like, why would they make it about him? Like, why does this dude have like like Mark Kerr, of course, like when you say something like that, Daniel Rodriguez,
you feel that way about Mark Kerr, but
well, Daniel Rodriguez getting a movie randomly would be just like, I feel like that would fit in line with just like something random that all sports do.
Nah, but I mean, look, I think that if you really are looking at it from like a bird's eye view, it does kind of track as a decent movie concept. Guy is a known fighter in the UFC, goes missing for a long time. Where did he go? No one knows. All of a sudden he's in Mexican jail. And apparently the Mexican jail experience was its own, set of circumstances that I guess he talked about on the Dom Cruise podcast. Still got to watch that and see what all the fuss was about there. But yeah, I mean, I certainly have heard worse setups for movies.
Yeah, no, for sure. I think it could be interesting. Obviously, Daniel Rodriguez could be the sound mixer for the entire movie as well. He's got a lot of different songs and tracks that are unreleased. I hope he walks out to another one. I wonder if he gets into his post-fight speech and he says, I made this when I was in the pen, I was doing all that stuff, I was training real hard and making songs. So what I will say to this, hey, this dude, hey, he's about his craft is what I will say there. If he goes to prison, he's going to work out. Even if he's in the UFC, he's going to make music, and it may not be it's glitz and glam. You know, he's what Dana White says the UFC should be about. You know, he's like, you got to market yourself. You know, the UFC is just a platform. You have all these opportunities to make yourself the money kind of deal outside of the sport. Daniel Rodriguez has not necessarily been given the the golden goose when it comes to all that, but he is still doing what Dana White says that these guys should be doing on how to live their career in the UFC. So I give big props to him. Obviously, going and spending time in prison is crazy for the unfortunate circumstances. What it sounded like it was, you know, it didn't sound like bro needed to spend 8 months in prison kind of deal, but he did. He made it out of there. Hopefully, it wasn't as bad as I assume it might have been. But he's back. A movie to be made about him would be. I wouldn't mind. You know.
Yeah, I mean, one of my favorite parts about the fact that he, you know, aside from wishing him well and being happy that he's okay, is that now we might actually get some of that music released. I mean, before he was locked up, I was the first one waiting to hear some of these tracks. I want to hear some Super Hot Fire.
Absolutely. Hey, and Daniel Rodriguez, if you are out there and you want to come on the free for all, brother, there's your opportunity. We just opened the gates for you. We would love to come, you know, chop it up, you know.
Yeah,
So
then
shout
you
out to
can
him.
tell us what you think about King Green clowning people in the gym on Adrian Bronner's Kick channel.
Yeah, dude, that would actually be sick. Actually, Daniel Rodriguez, you go on the next Adrian Bronner's Kick stream and then you go upset some people in the gym. That would be nice. That would be a fun one.
Well, after he gets the upset win in Serbia, maybe that'll be what he does.
Well, speaking of an upset win, there are never been an opportunity for somebody to not achieve an upset win like this matchup that I'm about to show you right now. So if you did not know, Beneil Dariush lined up for a power slap.
No.
You're ready to see him die,
okay,
right?
okay, no. Okay, this is just like a one-off power. Okay, I thought you were saying
So he's going to get slapped. So
Gotcha.
I want you to be aware that Medic is going to slap him as hard as he can.
Okay.
You ready?
I'm ready.
I hope that's what happens at least, guys. That's surely that's what happens, right?
Going to be actually like competing in power slap. I was like,
no, but that would be crazy though, right?
All right, let's see.
Great form.
Wow.
Now Benny's time. Yeah, get loose, of course. Well, that was a closed fist, brother. That was not a slap.
Who'd be the better one?
Oh, probably Benny. He's got that. He's got that old man strength.
Good guy, Eros.
Right.
Weight on him, you know?
Is this
He's
what
heavy now? He's heavy. He's been eating that Serbian food.
Is that why do I think that's fucking, I don't know. It looked like Krokop.
Yeah, I say, is that Mirko Krokop? Is that what it would look like?
I don't know, but I didn't want to say that and be like,
it is Serbia.
Okay,
but if it's Serbia, he'd be there.
Listen, Beneil Dariush just even jokingly hinting at power slap is criminal because we know what this dude has had happen to him.
Yeah.
Like, it's literally submission artists.
Well,
like
this is from the UFC's official channel.
This one is a repost, but yes,
yeah. Let me tell you, peak content from the UFC over here. Two guys pantomiming power slap.
But Krokop was there. You saw him. He laughed too, right?
I mean that did heighten it. You are correct. That had that not been, I don't know if I would have fucked with it. But now that I see that, I do.
Well, you're talking about now you see it and you believe it. A couple weeks back we saw Conor McGregor, right?
Yes.
You saw what happened to him when he tried to make his return. He
did
one kick and his leg gave out. And I bring this up because I feel like it did not get enough credit and you guys just have to witness it. It came up on my feed. So we're going to witness the proof right here. You guys talked about his leg not being able to handle it, blah blah blah. Conor throws kicks like that throughout his entire career and it's fine. Listen here. Here is a perfect example of somebody who is not well equipped to throw any type of fucking strikes like this, but he magically did it at a crisp age of whatever.
Oh my God. I cannot believe you, Chase.
The point is like for people to be like, oh, he was such an idiot for throwing that kick. Okay, let's go ahead and watch this real quick. And you tell me who's the idiot here.
If he had actually landed it and it all went well?
Yeah, absolutely. It's just, I don't know. I find it crazy that this is the sport where anything can happen. We've seen two people in specific cases that I remember, that were literally just trying to warm up on the intro, Brian Ortega and Chris Barnett, and they literally injured themselves, like with jumping.
True.
So Conor McGregor, this is a true freak accident if Derek Lewis is able to confidently fucking conjure up something like this, and by the way, he throws switch kicks too. This is just an example of it working. He goes out there and he'll randomly throw a switch kick that just does nothing, and then he'll just throw back. He'll just go back to throwing bombs. But the point is it was just an unlucky position of the fog machine with the dry ice. Probably it was too close to his corner.
Quite obviously. I mean, that's definitely the case. But no, I mean, going back to what I said on the podcast about that, we watched McGregor forever. The guy is injury prone. Now, whether you want to attribute that to, juice usage or just being naturally someone who is prone to injury, either which way, the signs were, we literally saw him injure himself 3 separate times in a 4-episode docuseries.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know what to tell you. Yeah. I mean, like, we saw an entire episode about, we referenced the doctor earlier. We saw in the 4th episode of the docuseries, it's all about the doctor trying to prepare and prevent some type of traumatic leg injury and not being able to do it. So I think that it all just makes sense. I really don't understand why there's this level of scrutiny on it. Like, if you know the details of McGregor, like it all tracks.
It really does come down to like knowing your body as well. Conor McGregor comes from the position where he has got all the sports science and all the best doctors, and Derek Lewis is just a fat man who said, I'm going to throw a flying knee today. And it worked out. And the dude who spends millions of dollars every year on his body and recovery, it just happens to be him who tweaks his knee. It could have been Derek Lewis any other time, but no, it never is, So the point that I'm making is never forget that Derek Lewis was able to attain what Conor McGregor probably was never going to, unfortunately. So that's just the unfortunate reality, but that's okay. That is definitely okay, because in the midst of going to Flashback Friday, I want you guys to pay attention to this one. 4 years ago, what were you doing? Do you remember? Because it probably wasn't as good as what you're about to witness right now. So 4 years ago, Amanda Nunes made her return to come back and beat Juliana Pena. So obviously the tragedy, the comedy, and the history we are going to add to this here. So let's go ahead and just get a quick little rewind here. If you don't remember, or if you don't know, well, now you will know.
Also, am I seeing? Sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt.
Yes.
But am I seeing Beast promo back there? What is that? That can't be for the Beast film. What is that Beast?
Only.
Yeah, only in theaters. How?
No, that doesn't say theaters.
Does it not say Beast only in theaters?
Only in hell. I think it might say health or something. Health.
It says only in theaters August 18th. Is that when the Beast movie? How is that? That can't be the same thing. Was there another Beast movie? What year? What year was this? This was 4 years ago.
This is 4 years ago on the day.
Oh yeah, Beast 2022. Oh yeah, no, there's just a legitimate. There's a second film also called Beast. That's really funny.
Okay, that's
starring Idris Elba.
Oh, I actually did watch that movie. Yeah, it's about a fucking tiger. Yeah, I didn't know it was called Beast though. Yeah.
Crazy coincidence. Sorry, did not mean to interrupt, but just interesting that is the case. Go ahead.
Yes, absolutely. If you guys did not remember, you're going to remember soon. I think it's music that's playing, so I'm actually going to mute that.
Okay, yeah.
We'll just go ahead and take a quick rewind of just how bad Juliana Pena, because the thing is this is after Juliana Pena submitted her. She submitted her, and this was clearly after people thought that Amanda Nunes kind of threw in that performance. She didn't. What was she to? There was nothing more for her to obtain, kind of deal. So for her to come back here and just decimate Juliana Pena, I mean, look at
her over.
Pena here. I mean, crazy enough, almost
trying for the armbar.
I actually don't remember this portion of it, but good shit for not getting there. Yeah. Amanda's a beast, man.
Yeah, I mean, look, that was a really nice way to turn that into a north-south too.
And then finishes with the choke, probably.
Oh yeah, was that cut off? When did the cut happen like that? It's been a long time. Obviously, I haven't seen this fight since then, but yeah.
It didn't end there, Jim.
I mean, geez,
goes at a decision.
Look at that gash! Holy, that must have been off an elbow or something.
Yeah. So 4 years ago, I mean, we got to see Amanda Nunes come back and reclaim her gold, and then retire again, right? Is that how that worked?
No, she fought a couple of times after that, and then retired. I think she retired after the Lemos fight. I want to say, something like that. She just decided to retire one day. There was no other. She cleared out the division and then said, "I'm done. I'm going to go raise my child." But that does bring up the great point that, of course, we are waiting to see her versus Kayla Harrison. Kayla Harrison having her neck surgery that apparently went well and is, she's recovering from and has been recovering from for quite some time now. When the hell are we getting that fight?
Yeah, who really knows? I mean, it's unfortunately an injury that you can't rush and you don't really want to. You got to wait till you really are feeling it 100%. Kayla, I mean, as much as I know she probably wants to come out here and have this fight, because this is one of the biggest fights in MMA and women's MMA history, of course. And she's just gonna have to take her time. We haven't heard anything about it. I mean, guys, let's be real though. She hasn't taken as much time as Tom Aspinall with an eye poke. So let's be real here. She had a broken freaking neck. She had surgery.
I wanted to correct this actually, and a shout out to Bleeding Edge, because Bleeding Edge works in the medical field. He actually cleared some of this up on one of my previous live streams. So I will say this in honor of him letting me know this. There was no injury. The surgery actually was preventative. She had fused discs in her back, and it was recommended that she had that corrected, because if she had those and continued to fight with them, it could turn into a much worse problem. So that because I also thought it was an injury. I think most of us did. I mean, I thought that was how they were presenting it, but apparently that is not the case. It was a surgery that was just necessary, but not because of injury. But also, I mean, really, it's almost inconsequential because it does take the same amount of time to recover. So.
Yeah, that is crazy. That is unfortunate, but one day we will get the fight, because it does seem like Amanda Nunes, she's ready for it. She's getting back in shape, and she's going to make the weight, and she's going to go try to fight for that belt. It's not just trying to win the belt again. Obviously, she retired on top, so she's defending her legacy. It's not just getting the belt back, but if she loses, I mean, she loses a lot, and not really, because obviously she's coming off the couch. She already cleared out the division, but if Kayla Harrison beats Amanda Nunes, for the remainder of what Kayla Harrison has for a career, people are going to say, like, she beat Amanda Nunes. She's the GOAT,
She's the new GOAT. Yeah, taking over the mantle. Yeah, absolutely. So, I mean, it really is a fight that I was really hoping we were going to get on the White House card. Of course, that did not happen, but we are certainly still waiting, and I'm excited for it if it does.
Now, listen. This next one, I feel like this is a newer thing that we're going to do. Obviously, we brought up the history. This is another newer thing that I think could be interesting. Chat, I want you to feel welcome when it comes to this next one. This was a post that I saw, and I wanted to ask you, thinker, what you think off the top of your head. No, don't think about it too much, and I'll give you a couple off my head just to start. But of course, which UFC fighter did you hate at first, but then began to like them? So,
yeah, go ahead.
Initially, Brendan Allen came to mind. I mean,
True.
This is who I am, why even like him at the beginning, but he proved through hard work, his willingness to take fights that nobody else wants to. I think the Shabazian thing was probably not the smartest, but you have a manager who probably fucking leveraged you into that. So I can't really argue with that. But Brendan Allen, I think, has earned my respect as a fighter, and I'm really happy about that one. So anybody off the top of your head, go for it.
Yeah, Jocelyn Edwards would be the first one to come to my mind. Somebody who, really, it partially was not her fault, but one of the first exposures to her that I had was her getting a blatant robbery win. So that certainly didn't help. Then I just never really thought that she was about it like that. But over time, she has proven that she is way more about it than I thought. So, yeah, I think that she made a fan out of me for sure.
No, absolutely. That's a really good one. I'm
trying to think of other ones though. It's like it's hard. It's one of those things that, like, on the spot, I'm not going to have an answer, but I can guarantee you I'll have like 8 of them, later on.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I think another one that I could maybe throw out there, maybe hate is a strong word. Obviously, Brendan Allen, whatever you want to say. Hate, I didn't fucking hate the guy. But when it comes to disliking or being neutral or indifferent about a fighter, I could say like Islam or something. It's like when I started, it's like, I'm told this is the GOAT. I'm told he's so good. And, when I watch him, it's like, okay, I get it. But like my pre-deposition is like, he can't be as good as what people say. Like, so it wasn't necessarily hatred. It was just like I was pondering the idea, what if he's not as good as people say? So I think that one is more of a stretch, but I wouldn't necessarily say it's the same thing.
And on the other side of that, ironically, so I mean, it's also a bit of a stretch too, but I'll say it anyways. I guess Ian Gary comes to mind a little bit as well because I mean, I wouldn't class myself as like the biggest fan of his even still, but I certainly, I was caught up in the same things that everybody feels about Ian Gary with all of his outside of the cage stuff. But I do recognize that technically he is a very proficient fighter. I do think that Uros Medic on your stream, we were watching some of Uros Medic clips there. I thought he had some pretty accurate things to say about him. He was cooking him pretty hard. But that aside, I mean, look, a decision win is still a win. And he is certainly one of the most technically sound fighters I can think of now. So I at least have to respect that aspect of it.
No, absolutely. I guess I figured more to come to my mind that I really, gosh, Tom Aspinall. I still don't like this guy. Maybe he's
you
going
can't
to
put
be,
Tom in that class for you,
maybe
dude. You
if
saw
he
that
beat.
shit you
Listen,
talk.
if he beats Surreal Gun and the eyes don't ever affect him again, hey, the question was, who did you hate at first, but then began to like them? I hate Tom Aspinall, but I could begin to like him if he comes back and does a thing. So he's on the docket, of course.
He's in waiting, basically.
Exactly.
Okay.
Take a number, brother. Who is another guy? I'm trying to think of some deeper cuts here. Somebody that I really respect now after what I've seen them do.
I would say that Patty probably comes to mind a little bit too for me
It's a good one.
with that. Yeah, I mean after the Jared Gordon fight, of course, I think me and a lot of other people were not too high on him then, but obviously he's proven himself to be a pretty tough customer. So yeah, I would put him there to an extent as well.
And again, hate indifferent. I think Manel Cap also kind of fits into there.
That's a great one, actually. I think I agree.
I don't think that I'm, it's not like I began to like them, but it's like I began to understand. Yeah, he's kind of got that star power to him, and he is knocking people out, man. It's hard not to like him at this point because what he's been doing.
Well, and I think that's where like maybe there's a little bit of a distinction, right? It's like, is it like that you like now or that you have to respect? You know what I mean? Because
yes.
That's Manel Cop certainly does come to mind with that. It's like, yeah, I mean, I still don't necessarily like the guy. I think that he's a loose cannon in a negative way, but like you can't deny that exactly what you're saying here. Yeah, he's knocking out one of my favorites in Royval, so it's
and
really
Horiguchi.
And oh gosh, yeah, and of course Horiguchi. Oh, poor Gooch. But yeah, so there you go. And then I'm seeing Bleeding Edge coming in saying Dominic Cruz. Interesting one there. I mean, I guess I would have to know like when you didn't like Dom Cruz, and then like what made you come around. It's not like was it like actual fighting Dom Cruz, or are we talking post fighting analyst Dom Cruz when it comes to that? Because Dom's an interesting one for me. I made an entire video about my feelings about him. I've had a lot of feelings about Dom Cruz over the years. I respect Dom. I certainly do. I still kind of feel the same way about him, though, that I sort of always have, that he's a bit of a joyless bastard.
And this will be a hot take, and this kind of wraps it around to the beginning. And obviously, if you take in this person's mixed martial arts career in the UFC, I think Anthony Smith could fit this build for a lot of people. Who did you hate it for a while, but then you began to the lion heart grew on you. He didn't take the belt away from John by getting the DQ or whatever. So I think he does fit the build, but then obviously as time goes on, he's back to the original state of the who did you hate, kind of topic of discussion. But yeah, that one, I'm trying to think if you are somebody who doesn't have a good judge of character and you were like, who's that weird guy Robert Valentine in episode 1 of The Ultimate Fighter, I think that could be somebody who not me personally, but for other people you would probably not understand, and then he would eventually grow on you. That's just his personality.
The unfortunate thing with Valentine, though, is that I did not realize his his political stances. I think he's one of those people that apparently gets a little bit extreme with some of his views, and they don't really necessarily align with mine. So that's which sucks, because I certainly was a same fan as ever since I saw him on that show. I've been a fan, and then now I'm like, oh, you're making it real hard to stay a fan.
Another one, a lot of people. Andreas Gustafsson, once they figure out, that he had some stuff covered up, there's going to be a narrative that is around him. There's a cloud, and as he continues on his mixed martial arts career, if he ever is able to make a return, I think more people will gravitate towards like, okay, more people can change. He caught him covered up. It was at a a different time in his life, whatever you want to say. So that might be another good one.
He said he didn't know.
Yeah. Come on, guys. You can't know everything. You literally just can't. They didn't have the internet back then. He's kind of older.
Yeah, you can't do any research on the things that you're having permanently etched into your skin. But yeah, no, I think that one is that's a pretty good one there too. I mean, probably not either of us, but maybe some people would put Gable Steveson in that camp at some point. That's a wild one to think if you could bring yourself to feel that way. And I don't think I'm going to get there, but it could track.
Well, Josh Hokett obviously fits the bill too. I mean, we're still not around to the liking him portion, but he's less annoying, which is all that I've wanted from him, is to not be as much of in the fucking space doing the weird shit. He's not doing it as much. I'm not seeing it, at least.
He's not in camp though. I mean, or he doesn't have, next time he gets booked, it's right back to it. Because I thought about Hokett actually. He was one that came to mind, but I didn't say him because of that exact reason. No, he certainly, it'd be like, maybe it would be like Manel Kopp, where you're like, yeah, he has proven that he is a better fighter, so you kind of have to respect that. And I guess I would say that. I mean, I picked him to win fights early on when people weren't believing in him. So, I certainly always saw that there was something there as far as his fighting goes. But as far as the conduct goes, I still can't be a fan of that asshole.
So which fighter, actually another good option that I would say, which fighter did I hate at first, but I began to like, Patricio Pitbull, I think, is somebody that I could add to that list. I didn't necessarily dislike him, more indifference, but I actually do. That's a tough little Brazilian. I like him. He's cool.
Okay. I mean, sure. What changed your mind there?
He's, he took his ass whooping. He fought, Yair, right? Not Yair. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean,
yes. It's a good fight. It's good stuff. I liked it. I liked it.
Being that great of a fight.
No, it was fun. No, Patricio. I don't know.
Did he win that fight?
I don't think he won, but either way, it was a fun performance, and I was like, he went out there and he had a performance that let Yair showcase that. It was a fight. He actually was able to bring the entertainment out of somebody who I have never really thought was that entertaining. And Pitbull was tough enough to take his ass whooping. Sometimes you got to lose. Sometimes you just don't have the answers, and Yair proved that night that he actually is pretty skilled. So
fair. Bleeding Edge coming in with another great one, by the way. Tommy Gunn.
Yeah. That's this is the one that I have. I think this is a revolving door because of obviously every time Ciryl Gane fights, we find a reason to hate him. But once you see him fight, you kind of just like, God damn, that is one crazy heavyweight. Like, that is a dude. When he wins, I mean, it's like you got to really just kind of give the hats off to him. Like, but you obviously know that he's intentionally or not fouling his opponents very extensively through his career, of course.
Well, and I think that the way that you put it is perfect. A revolving door tracks immensely because, not only seeing him fight, but also seeing him act. Obviously we reviewed the KO film. I enjoyed the KO film. I actually thought he was pretty decent in the KO film. I was like, oh, that's not bad. We saw him in the cage as well, his little cameo there. I mean, like, he has endeared me in certain ways. Sometimes with his fighting earlier on, and then obviously there's a lot of other stuff that goes into that. But then you see the fouls, and then you see the history of the fouls, the compilations, and all of that, and it gets a little bit tough to be a fan. So revolving door, I do think tracks. It's like, sometimes it's up, sometimes it's down, but there's a respect level, I guess, underneath it.
Another one that I'll actually name, not again, don't hate this dude, never really, whatever. Ryan Spann. This is a personal one because I remember when I first started watching, the first fight I saw was him and Anthony Smith in the rematch. And they told me, he beat Anthony Smith. And I remember Anthony Smith winning that fight, and I thought that was a little scandalous. And so I never really thought too much of Ryan Spann after that point. I'm like, oh, he fucking lost Anthony, whatever you want to say technically. But Ryan Spann, as of right now, when he knocked out Buchecha, that dude went from indifferent to one of my favorite fighters, brother. That was a fun knockout, man.
Oh, well, your hatred of Buchecha just continuing forever. Yeah. Oh, poor Buchecha. But no, I've always liked Ryan Spann, so that'll be for you. Maybe Alonzo Menefield. I don't know. Maybe that's in a similar, kind of situation, perhaps.
Okay, well, let's flip it real quick because maybe you can think of more of that you liked at first and now you've begun to hate them,
Oh, gosh.
So anybody off the top of your head that you can think of that you just slowly dislike, did you ever like Armin is really the question, is what I'm asking.
Yeah, I would say so. Yeah, I mean, like probably before I knew a good amount about his personality, I always thought he was a good fight. I mean, I still think he's a good fighter. I
Yeah.
mean, like obviously that. So yeah, I mean that one that is a good one. Another one that comes to mind is this would be very 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 early on, but Shara Bullet would be another one of those because yeah, I mean when Shara, I'll never forget because it was such a crazy lead up with him. There was that image that was going around. It was like somebody turned up the contrast on the image, so it looked he was like had the fucking crazy abs and he was flexing on there, and it was like, holy shit, this guy looks like a goddamn monster over here. Then you see him, he doesn't look like that, and he also doesn't fight like that. So I mean, like, now granted, you could say that the way that he fights is unique, and I will certainly grant you that. But I'm, since the debut, I have never been a fan because he eked out that win over Bruno, like in my opinion. I mean, everybody said it was more definitive. I was like, felt pretty close to me, a lot closer than they were making it seem it was going to be.
No, absolutely. I think if I'm gonna reverse it, who did I like at first, but I've begun to dislike? Christian Leroy Duncan. This guy, I mean, I don't know what to tell you, brother. I mean, you've seen it all. You've seen this dude perform in the Apex like he's one of the best middleweights in the world. And then
Yeah.
as soon as he steps foot out of Vegas, it's like he just doesn't do anything really.
True.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that is definitely a good one. And I have another one that also
Okay.
maybe a little bit of recency bias, but tremendously tracks right now. Chase Hooper. Chase Hooper, 100%, dude. I was like everybody else, always the young guy is coming in. He's going to do such great things. He beats up on Borshov. Like that looked really good. And then these last couple of fights, I'm just like, I remember saying it on the podcast. I'm like, I'm out of the Chase Hooper business, bro. I'm not feeling this guy anymore.
I think a lot of people, when at least this year specifically, and actually could go either way, depending on what side of the coin you're on. You could hate this fighter and then like them, or you could have liked them and then hate them. Justin Gaethje falls everywhere on the spectrum because he either beat your favorite fighter and he beat them bad, or he beat both of your favorite fighters and he beat them bad, or he upset both of the biggest fucking, whatever you want to say for the year,
Well,
so.
and then on the other side too, he's lost in big moments as well. I mean, like, he's lost to a lot of a lot of times when he was supposed to win. I mean, this is what it was time number 3, third time's the charm for the belt, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah. So it's pretty crazy. I think Justin Gaethje could fall a lot of different places in this category, but I thought this was pretty fun. Get your brain flowing a little bit. Shout out to chat for participating as well. This was a little something fun to do. If you guys are unaware, just to let you know, there are only a few articles left, so we are rounding out the end of the show. So if you need anything to talk about, or if you want us to run down anything, please start finding those, start posting the links, and we will definitely try to get to them if we can. But
absolutely,
this was very crazy to me. I have made this point, and it kind of frustrates me sometimes because the UFC goes to all these different regions. And then when they go to these regions, they don't use the roster that they've been acquiring this entire time. They just find people off the street from that region to compete there. And I don't understand where this comes from, but this is the number. 9 debuts are happening in Serbia.
Yeah. That was a little bit of the discussion, I think, on the 10-7's stream. I think they were talking about that in the finish rate on some of these people as well is crazy. Yeah, 14 and 3 with 13 first round finishes for Vlasto there. So yeah, I mean, what they were saying and what I was agreeing with, because I think I had also said this on a stream recently, is that people who are thinking that this card is not good on paper, this is going to be quite the fireworks display, I would say. And then, having all of these debuting fighters, a lot of them fighting other, newer fighters as well. It's going to be closer to amateur MMA than seasoned pro MMA, and that can be very exciting.
No, absolutely. And I think one thing specifically, since we have our guy Milos here, what did you think about watching the Street Word and finding out that Montenegro has not been accepted by the embassy to be represented by the UFC?
I was extremely upset by this. I was very upset. Not even really as upset as just confused, because I was like, "What?" I mean, Montenegro is as far as I know,
they got a flag, bro.
Oh, most countries have that, but I mean, they're a developed nation. They're a first world nation, as far as I know. I mean, they're not war torn or in any kind of political turmoil that I know of. I mean, there might be some regional stuff that I'm not aware of over there, but certainly a country that deserves representation just like any other one. And then to hear that this guy, our dude Milos, who's been tearing it up over there in dirty boxing, making his UFC debut and not being able to represent his country was very upsetting to me, especially when he was getting told this by a guy who looked like the villain from The Incredibles.
Dude, it was pretty funny because, you know, he's obviously trying to figure out his fight kits, and, you know, we're just going to give you the basic, you know, you just get the black and then you have the basic flag. And he's like, well, I can't represent Montenegro. It's like, no, we're reaching out to him right now. And then he's like, well, how long ago did you do that? They're like, oh, we did it a couple weeks ago. And he's like, brother, they got more problems. They are not going to be worrying about me. Like, it's pretty funny because he even said that at the beginning. He's like, oh, no, don't bother them. Come on. Like, they got more things to worry about. And then as they continue on, like, the buddy goes, bro, they have plenty of other things to worry about other than getting his name on the, like, in the fucking books.
And you know, that does bring up an interesting kind of question that I have as well, is why exactly do they need the embassy or governmental approval for a fighter to represent the country that way? If he's a citizen of the nation, is he? That's what he was saying in the video. He's like, I have a passport from this country. It's what my passport says. So it's like, why is there some additional approval that is necessary for that? I mean, I can understand the idea, oh, you're representing our country on the national or the international scale when it comes to the UFC, but who cares? I mean, I don't understand how that's the government's problem.
I find it funny because Bleeding Edge makes a great point. They probably don't even have an office designated to fucking answer this. But like, did they send a fax, like an email? Like, who did this go to? They're just like, no, we reached out and we'll give you a call once we find out back. And he's like, how long ago did you reach out? It was about 2-3 weeks ago. He's like, brother, they are not getting back to us.
There's probably like,
okay.
There's like 3 people working working in the Montenegrin embassy. I would guess. It's just a strange thing, though. I don't understand why it's even a question. I mean, like, if they're a country that's not in some kind of political upheaval, I wouldn't understand why you can't represent your flag. I mean, it seems pretty standard to me.
No, I don't understand it. It is pretty interesting. I feel bad for him because when you get to the biggest stage in your life, you know, like, he's a fighter, martial arts, he's obviously has been saying, you know, I want to get to the UFC, you know, and you can't represent the country that you really want to. People take this shit serious, you know, and it's not me personally who would be, you know, making the biggest deal about it, you know, put the blank flag, let's just go on about our day. But he wants to represent his country. My passport says Montenegro. Like, come on, like, what's the deal? So I find it's unfortunate for him, because I even feel like when you look at this picture of him, it's like, man, he's in his black shorts. Like, it's not even like red or nothing. Like, they can't even have red shorts, yellow lettering. Like, they don't give a fuck. Like, no, you're not Montenegrin, brother. You're black trunks. So.
Yeah, well, is that the Leon Edwards or is that the Carlos Prates? I forget.
That was a really funny portion of it too. So just for the chat, yeah. So Milos is explaining what he wants his trunks to look like, and they're like, "Yeah, you sent us a picture. We understand you want the Carlos Prates." And he's like, "No, brother. I want the Leon Edwards when he got knocked out." I'm like, "What the fuck?" Like, yeah, it was pretty funny. So he's a cool dude.
And yeah, and one last thing I wanted to say is that, you know, even if he's not able to represent having Montenegro on his hip, he will always have Brooke Lee on his side. You know, he does have that tremendous Bruce Lee tattoo.
Yeah, the Sean Strickland Bruce Lee tattoo. That one is pretty good.
Yeah, the regional ink, I think, is what you said, and God does that track.
We actually, Bleeding Edge, we do not have that problem with Palestine, by the way, because Abdul Wahadi against Shamrock or whatever, he was representing Palestine, it was in the UK as well, I believe. So interesting about that one. But our Finnish dude, last week, he did have the Palestine flag on the opposite side of his Finland flag.
Well, I think that there is a difference between what they show on the graphic versus them just having the flag there. But I mean, we do know that there has been issues with them having it in person too.
True. I know. I think Bilal does Palestine now as well.
Yes.
But
yeah,
could
definitely.
be. So either way. But speaking of, you know, just not being able to represent your country, you know, I feel bad for Milos because, you know, he's out there, he's doing his thing. They brought him on because listen, if you guys checked out his YouTube series, like his vlog series kind of deal, I mean, it's pretty legit. He's in this fight game. Like, he's not just a prospect. Like, he's like a seasoned kind of guy when it comes into this. So I'm really intrigued by his story. I want to see just how good he is. I mean, 19-3. he's been beaten by 3 people, but I don't think it's going to be the people that he's going to see very soon. But speaking of people who are going to get seen very, very soon, I don't know if you knew this, but Jeff Neal, he needs a short notice replacement for his opponent because Chidi. Oh, I'm sorry. It was Jeff Neal who had pulled out against Chidi and Jacowani, and this is the rumor, and I could be wrong, by pulling out this tweet and jumping the gun, but Yoel Alvarez has volunteered to face Chidi. And now a lot of people, you would look at that and be like, why would Joel Alvarez, like, they're not going to do that fight. But I actually think this is a really good fight for Yoel Alvarez to have to prove something back to a lot of people. I mean, Chidi and Jacowani is not somebody who is, the caliber of what Yoel Alvarez could be. But for what Yoel Alvarez has been, I think Chidi and Jacowani, he should beat him. Yes, I think Alvarez would beat Chidi, but I still think it is a moment where he's going to prove something. And it's like he hasn't been able to prove me wrong, or he has proven me wrong, I should say. He has not looked great. And
well, yeah, what he needs to do is prove himself at this weight. I mean, the whole thing, he was fighting really, really well at the lower weight. He's a lightweight. He's doing great things. He moves up to welterweight. And now things have gone dramatically sideways for him. So, he has a point to prove over here. And I think that you're right. This is honestly almost feels a little bit set up if they actually give him that fight, because, I don't know if that would have been the matchmaking that would have been the most appropriate for him had this not been the circumstance. But if they want to do that and give him that opportunity to prove a point, then go out there and prove the point is what I would say to it,
No, absolutely. And again, Chidi and Jacowani is not somebody that I would say should be facing a guy like Yoel because he's not coming off of a good run. But when you compare what people have performed at, I think Yoel, whatever this dude's name is, I think facing a guy who is a finisher, in Chidi, or a finished or be finished kind of guy in Chidi, it's going to make Joel have to actually fight for something. I mean, he can't just sit there and skate by for 3 rounds, sit on fucking Vicente Luque's head and shit. Like, he's going to have to go fight Chidi. Chidi will walk into a fight with him. And if he wins, that's very good. Again, like Bleeding Edge said, right the ship is what we need from Joel. And Chidi, if he gets finished by Joel Alvarez, I mean, he took a big opportunity, a very dangerous fight. I don't think it looks too bad on him. Obviously, the record would speak different, but I think this is a very good matchup. I really like this.
Yeah, it could very well be, and he does need to right the ship, because right now, as of this current moment, that little exercise we were doing earlier, fighters that you once were extremely high on and have changed perceptions. I wouldn't say that I don't hate Joel Alvarez, of course. I mean, I would still say that he is potentially could be one of my favorite fighters again. But there was a time that he was up there on the list of like guys who I was really high on. I was like, that guy has future champ potential, and it's not looking so great at the new weight when it comes to that.
No, absolutely. Well, I don't know. That was an interesting one to throw in there towards the end, just to get the vibes. Are we still in on Joel Alvarez? But one thing I would say is we got to get a vibe check for is this next video, and this one was, people have been pointing this one out. This goes back to is Dana White in love with the game as much as he once was? Because this clip right here, it may give you your perfect example and your answer, of course. So here is Dana White getting a question from an international reporter, and let's just see how he handles it.
Okay.
One more question for Dana. Which fights on this card are you looking forward to the most?
That is a shitty question, my friend.
Yeah, I know.
Listen, obviously everybody's always excited about the main event. I'm just hoping, I want a few holy shit moments on Saturday night, so hopefully we get a few of those.
Okay, thank you, Dana.
Thank you.
One more question for Dana.
Okay. What'd you think?
I mean, is the implication that he doesn't know the fights on the card?
That is what Ariel is going with on here. Honestly, bad question, or he just doesn't know or care enough to know. What do you think?
Little of column A, little of column B. I mean, it's not the greatest question, but it is a boiler. Well, I guess I would say it's a boilerplate question. I mean, it's about as standard of a question as you can get. But Dana could have answered that shitty question way better, and like, yeah, I mean, well, maybe even one step back from that though, because the other element of that, Dana is the promoter. He has a relationship with every fighter on that stage. hard, I guess I would say, to, as if you want to go down the little like the political route as far as like, the politics of the sport. Maybe he doesn't want to show favoritism to any one fight or fighter, perhaps, especially at this level. This is such a low stakes card when it comes to, the implications of divisions and things like that. If there was like a crazy title fight on the line here or something, it'd be a pretty easy answer with that. But yeah, so I mean, like, but that's not Dana's MO, that's not his style, is to not have an answer like that, even under those circumstances. He'll tell you what he thinks regardless. So, I mean, like I said, a little column A, a little column B, probably doesn't know that, all of the fighters or fights on the card. And also, kind of a basic question. So you get a basic answer.
Yeah, 9 of them were on their debut, so he really doesn't know much. I mean, if he did, you want him to just say the main event, because he probably could have. So I guess there's ways to view this if you want to be on his side, and or if you just want to say, well, clearly he doesn't know who's fighting. Well, brother, I don't either, and I watch the shit every fucking weekend.
It would have been great if he just looked over the dais and was just like, that one. Like, I don't know.
That guy over there. Yeah, he looks like he's doing pretty good things over there.
Exactly. He's got look like he's got some upper body strength. Maybe we'll see something good out of that dude.
There you go. No, but that was a funny one. Dana obviously is tied up with boxing, so his heart maybe is just not in the martial arts game anymore.
Boxing, meta, fucking
power
slap, President Trump stuff, whatever. Like Dana White has ascended, folks. He's not Dana White UFC guy anymore. He is Dana White TKO / international commerce man now.
There you go. And I actually think, that's a really good spot for us to go ahead and end it on, I think, is because just ending with Dana White, knowing that you think that this dude is running a promotion because he loves mixed martial arts. Not anymore, guys. Not anymore. He's still answering questions for the media at this point. Like, why are you up here answering questions if that's going to be your response to some of them? Get Hunter up there. Get Sean Shelby. Get somebody else to start answering questions if you don't feel like doing it anymore. So.
Yeah, well, I mean, we're going to have to see when the actual transition actually begins, if it's going to happen. I mean, eventually it's going to happen, of course, but, we'll have to see when it actually does start to become more than just rumblings and rumors on the internet. But for right now, he's trying to do it all. He's a guy who wants it all and apparently is trying to make it so he gets it all.
Yeah, absolutely. This is his sport and we're just living in it.
Of course. Exactly. That is a very good way to put it. But I will one up you on last things though, because if you look in the chat, in our chat here, Chase, I sent you a link.
Yes.
If you can grab that image, I don't know how you can pull it up, but
I did see this and I laughed at it for a minute because I get what you guys are talking about, but I'm curious of why we were bringing it up. So maybe I need some more context. So yes, here is the photo.
So yeah, so I saw someone describe it, and now there's a couple of things going on here.
Okay.
First of all, obviously the seating arrangement is what a lot of people have been commenting on. Of course, if we've got Connor sitting next to Ian Gary's wife, Ian all the way diagonal on the table. I mean, he's out of the picture as far as the two of them go. So we've got that dynamic. Then you also have Connor with this monster steak and vegan Gary over here with the pea soup.
Yeah, this is, oh man, whatever the fuck is going on over here.
What is that crazy. As a meal, bro?
I really do like the idea that Connor is just big dicking him with sitting next to his wife. Listen, you got to look at the pose too. It's just all open, you don't give
man spreading to the max over here, dude. And where's D? Where's his wife?
Yeah, no, she's taking the picture, bro. Jesus fucking Christ! Oh,
so man. Yeah, just had to bring it up. I mean, like I'm telling, it looks like Ian Gary is eating pea soup and toast. I mean, that looks like slices of toast. I'm sure it's not toast, but it looks like from this angle and this distance, it looks like slices of toast and pea soup.
This is just listen. When you talk about this, is just and an allegory for life. You know, you look at this guy on the right, man. His wife chooses the guy with the fucking porterhouse and the French fries, and
Bro,
he eats his fucking pea soup.
this is some red pill shit right here, dude. Like, this is some manosphere shit that is being like, I guarantee, like, I'm surprised that you don't see a version of this going around where the people have drawn the lines through it. You know what I'm talking about? The
Yes.
line, yeah, like you know,
Wow.
the body language line. Yeah, you got Ian Gary doing the lean over. Connor would be the straight line.
Holy shit, that is a pretty funny picture. It brought me to tears, really. I mean, it's one thing to look at what he's eating and question, like, what the fuck is that? But
I mean,
but he had to hide it too from the camera.
bro, for real, like as an actual meal, though. I mean, like, you know, and we all know that Ian Gary is a vegan dude, so it's like, okay, but like, man, I mean, you do see the difference just on display, Connor, with that because it's not even that it's a steak and you've got a vegan and he's got a steak. It's the fact that it's a vegan meal and the hugest steak known to man.
Yeah, he said, "I'm gonna get the pea soup," and he said, "Give me the 28 ounce. Give me the whole fucking hunk."
For real, dude. He's got himself a fucking tomahawk cut there.
Holy shit, that's a pretty funny picture. I still don't know why she's sitting next to Connor.
Oh, dude, yeah. I mean, again, dude, it's a crazy dynamic because it's not only that she's sitting next to Connor, but she's also sitting not at the same table as her husband too. So you've got Connor and Ian, and then she's diagonal to him. Like it'd be one thing if they were sitting across from each other, but like it's just an odd situation here.
Yeah, you know, because look, if he was sitting next to his wife, obviously this is where you would do the thigh grab, show a little affection. Connor knows this game. He's the king of showing affection in public.
True.
There's no this is Ian Gary being so happy to be with his Irish fucking king that he's like, did you just go sit over there?
I was gonna say, I mean, Ian Gary is lucky that his wife is not like a 4'11", girl at a bike rally.
True. Yeah. I mean, gosh, that is. I mean, she was almost the size of the steak. Like that is.
Indeed. Also, would have gone to the same place, right in Connor's mouth. Hi-oh.
Crazy.
Anyway.
But, yeah, this is a funny picture. I'm glad you guys made us look into this. Like, holy shit, this is great. I'm curious what this dude is eating too. By the way, like, what is?
Yeah, the big basket of what, like bread is.
Everybody's just eating bullshit here, and Connor is not having it. Like, it's funny too.
Bullshit.
It's because Connor too, if you notice, like it's like he just took bites right out of the edge of it. Like he didn't even like cut it off. Like he's just eating it with his bare hands, probably.
Bro, Hunk's just missing because the goat is eating.
Yeah, I can't believe it, bro. That's so funny. Ian Gary, man, what in the world, bro?
God yeah, no, definitely just something that had to be brought up, and it's the free for all is the perfect place to do it.
Yeah, that was good. But either way, I appreciate that. Thank you guys. That made me laugh. That made me laugh a lot. So cool.
Absolutely.
All right. Is there anything else? Does anybody else have anything else that we need to look at? Because this is now your moment, chat. This is up to you. If you have any more pictures of Ian Gary eating whatever the fuck he eats, bro. Oh my god. I said this on maybe a street word. I was like, Ian Gary, him being vegan, what vegans eat, bro. It always is it's bullshit.
It legitimately is just some bullshit for real. It's a lot of soy-based stuff. And I mean, look, there's some like tasty vegan dishes and stuff like that, but like the craziest thing to me is just being able to actually sustain as a professional athlete on a vegan diet. Like you must be eating all the fucking time.
Yeah, dude, it's funny, when you look at the matchup, you have Islam, true to life. That's your alpha male when it comes to eating, when it comes to gains or whatever. You've seen that dude's physique, the grip strength for a guy who eats protein versus a guy who has literally no energy in his like diet ever. Like it's going to be interesting. Do you want to believe that that's the reason he couldn't finish a choke on Carlos Prates and Shafka? This dude has no grip strength because he has no energy ever in his life.
I mean, yeah, you be the judge. Shout out to Mila coming in the chat asking, is he a raw vegan or just vegan? I don't know the answer to that. I would suspect
that pea soup, brother. It better be raw. That better be the raw kind, I would say.
Holy yeah, well, that's the thing. I mean, you got to be able to eat out at restaurants, right? I mean, like to some extent, how do you get a raw vegan diet and be able to actually eat in public? Like you have to, that's such a specific type of circumstance there,
But I can tell you, you're going to be eating a lot of salads like her. I mean,
I,
if you can't decide on the pea soup and or nothing, salad it is, my bro.
and to be fair, like of all of the bullshit on this table, her salad actually does look not as bad as some of the rest. So
I think bro in the back's got himself like a little sandwich or something, maybe a burger, maybe.
hard to say because it's like it looks like a piece of cornbread on top there. I don't know if that's what that is, but I mean, again, we're just looking from the vantage that we're at, but it could be a sandwich. It could be a bun.
Yeah, but I mean, at the end of the day, don't be eating whatever the fuck this dude's get. This is at the Black
And
Forge
I was just
fucking
gonna say that too.
brewery too.
I just noticed that. Yeah, that's crazy. God, Connor, what are you serving at this place?
It's so funny that he got there to his hero's establishment and he's like, "You guys got vegan options, right?" And Connor said, "I got a fucking can of soup." Like,
He's like, Connor was like, let me go talk to the chef real quick. And he's like, what the fucking figure something out.
yeah, they just drained the corn soup. They didn't even get the corn in it. Oh
God
my
damn.
god.
But yeah, no, that is kind of funny though, because it's like, what are you serving at the Black Forge? Steak, obviously, is what they're serving there, and the rest of the stuff is shit they had to whip together.
And you know what sucks too, and I hate to just like imagine it, but Ian Gary asking for this. Like it just like Connor's standing next to him like, what the fuck are you saying, bro?
Oh, you're vegan. Okay. Gotcha, pal.
Yeah.
Like, we gotta go figure it out.
Yeah, and then he just walks. They know what he's getting. They know he's getting a steak. He comes in here every day, eats his steak dinner. Ian Gary's at the fucking menu, like, where's the peas? I
Don't have pea soup on the menu. Got to choose a different place, I guess.
He's eating fucking like wheat bread, like just with fucking
Bro, it's sad, dude.
Like, bro, it's served with a spoon, like bro. It's like he dips it. It's like he dumps it on the bread. Like,
Oh my god, yeah. No, it's sad. The meal
picture
is sad.
gets worse, man. It gets worse as it goes on.
For real. Carlos coming in asking, did we talk about Morales? Yeah. So what's going on with Michael Morales? He's looking for a fight, or like he might be getting booked or something. I forget what, because Carlos had sent me something about Morales, but I forget what the details are of it. So Carlos, if you want to send the link again, you can put it in the chat.
Yeah, he might be looking for a fight, and maybe they finally just linked him and Carlos brought this up. But both of them were playing the I deserve the champion kind of deal. Like I fought enough, so I deserve the champion next. So I don't know if Michael Morales is actually going to get a fight yet.
Well, I think that that it was rumored that he was going to be fighting Yaroslav Amosov, which I was like, that does not sound correct to me from a UFC perspective. Like, I think it's a great fight if they did want to make that, but Amosov still way too early on for him to be getting Michael Morales. Because I mean, Michael Morales is a guy that's been, he's established himself in that division now. He's waiting for a bigger fight. Obviously he's potentially waiting for the champ if it goes that way. So it would be very strange to me if they match him up with Amosov, who I don't think that they want to down this early in his career. If he gets knocked out, that would be a big setback for him.
No, yeah, 100%. That was so. Yeah, but go ahead and post that if you got it for us, Carlos, and we'll definitely look into it. But another one, my Lambstone. Did we talk about Nick Diaz living in the Vegas hotel? We actually did make a brief mention about it with Nate Diaz's cameo appearance and him being able to afford a hotel for his brother. But no, I find it interesting. Isn't it always interesting? Isn't this dude, on hard times, going through some stuff, but just is staying at the most expensive hotel in Vegas?
But see, that's where I think the narrative is a little bit skewed. I think because that came from the caption of that image that's been going around. We don't have any indication that he's actually living at that casino or hotel or whatever.
I mean, if people in Vegas, are doing him a favor, they could have, Dana could be fronting the bill for him at a Vegas hotel. Dana is obviously not maybe the person, but who knows who it could be, where he's staying. Obviously, this is, again, going back to one of the first episodes of the free-for-all that we had, we looked into Nick Diaz potentially burning down a building.
And then also one that this was just before I was able to put content out a little bit more quickly, but one that I think flew under the radar that we kind of uncovered a little bit was him scamming people blatantly on Cameo.
Yes, yeah, that was another interesting layer to it. Yeah. So Nick Diaz, man, it is an interesting situation that we're just not getting context to, and we may just never, it may just he was never a person that really was like out in the social media sphere kind of deal. So he's always been low key. kind of a tinfoil hat kind of low key person, off the radar, if you will. So I would not be surprised if we just learn nothing more about him. It's funny because if you think back to the Smashing Machine, you remember at the end of the movie, the Smashing Machine with The Rock, where it had that weird moment where okay, the story's done. Now let's go to the real Mark Kerr at the grocery store. It's like, that's just where we're going to see Nick Diaz late. It's like, how did he get from here to here? We're never going to get the in between from that. I feel.
True. That's a good point. Yeah, there's a lot going on behind the scenes with a somewhat secretive or not secretive is maybe the wrong like connotation, but like a reserved, very private family with those guys. Their public image is pretty much them, I would suspect, pretty real. But like with that, they also are like guys who just they want to fight and then they want to go home. They're not really about the social media life, whatever. Don't really like doing interviews and stuff. They keep a lot to themselves. So yeah, when it comes to that, it's probably better in some ways, but then you get the other side of it where there could be a lot of negative stuff going on that the world will just not know.
Yeah, 100%. And to Carlos' point here, he's confirmed the backup fighter for 330 for Michael Morales.
Morales, yes. Okay, so that's the news there. What do you think about that, Chase?
Being the backup fighter, it's cool. It shows that you're ready, you want to be that guy, but does it ever amount to much? No. I mean, does it actually guarantee that you're going to be the next guy that gets the shot, because you were ready to save the day if something happened? No, doesn't actually mean anything. Plenty of people have been backup fighters and never backed up, so doesn't really mean anything. It just gets his name out there. It gets him a post where he could be like, I'll be fighting the champ if anything goes wrong, kind of deal. So
yeah, it reminds me of that Sean O'Malley clip where he was talking about why he was never a backup fighter for a title fight or a main event or whatever, and he was like, you have to go through all of the same weight cut and all of that. The money's not as good as if you were actually fighting, so you're basically just putting yourself through torture for a little bit of cash and then no real return. I mean, like where I guess if you need the money, then okay, then that's great. I mean, and I'm not implying that for Morales, but I'm just, basically what he was saying is like, yeah, if you want to do it for the money, then fine. But like, why would I put myself through all of that hell just to not fight?
Yeah, 100%. Yeah, crazy.
There you go.
There's a lot of stuff going on in MMA. There always is. There's always just something to talk about. Always a good time to have a little laugh. And I still cannot get over just how good this picture was. I'm glad it's still up here. And that's awesome, man.
Oh, so last thing, because I just noticed this too, since the picture has just been on the screen and there's, like you said, there's always something new. Gucci lovers, please, on Connor's shirt.
Yeah, this outfit is pretty funny from Connor here. Like, yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, Connor does rock with Gucci specifically very, very extensively. I noticed that doing the edit of McGregor Forever. Gucci is his brand of choice.
Oh yeah, hey, he can afford it. Why not?
Of course. Yeah. Speaking of McGregor Forever, I did want to let everybody know that the initial edit of that is complete. Hopefully, if all goes well, it should be out sometime tomorrow. So that is the plan, is hopefully I'm going to be able to get McGregor Forever out. And if your boy is really on his game, I'll be able to get a video out about Anthony Smith as well. But we'll have to see about the Smith video, because I got that. I want to get the McGregor Forever out. I want to get that video out. And then if at all humanly possible, I would also like to do PFL tomorrow, but we're going to just have to see what the schedule looks like. That's a lot to do in one day. So, don't hold me to any of that, but McGregor Forever is top priorities. I want that out and off the plate already.
No, that's awesome. And yeah, whatever Thinker ends up doing tomorrow, guys, make sure that you are there for it. If you did not know, in the morning at 9:30 a.m., I believe is what it will be, I will be watching One Championship Friday fights, and we'll be watching Muay Thai, and it's going to be awesome. And yes, 9:30 a.m. tomorrow morning. So.
Well, that's perfect then, Chase. So, what you can do is you watch One Championship, and then the video comes out, and you can stay on for an additional 5 hours and just watch the whole thing.
There you go. And then by the time that is over, you will then have PFL with Thinker. So that'll be good.
I love it. Yes. You'll also be, aged by 10 years. Just, having to sit on camera for that long. But that's not because of the quality of the video. The video quality is great. You're going to love it.
No, absolutely. Yeah, this will be good, man.
Yeah, absolutely. So yes, definitely hang out with Chase for One Championship tomorrow. Keep your eyes open for the McGregor Forever review that should be out on the channel. If I do PFL, I will let you know about that on social media. So make sure that you are following your boy at Yama Show on Twitter, Instagram, and on Facebook. wish I could be saying on TikTok, but that's still up in the air. Either way, you definitely follow on those platforms. Of course, youtube.com/@YamaShow for me. Chase, you want to give your plug there?
Yeah, absolutely. Like I said, tomorrow morning, 9:30 for One Championship at youtube.com/@CPSmalls. And of course, Saturday we'll be doing the same thing for UFC, doing a good watch along.
Absolutely. Same with me, and yamashow.com for all of your merchandise needs. Make sure to get yourself something nice over at the store. I guess that is going to wrap it up for this edition of the Free For All. Guys, thank you so much for hanging out with us for this one. This was another very fun one. I love doing this show, man. It's one of my favorite things in the world. So we appreciate you. Have a great rest of your night, a great rest of your week. And as always, fight on.
Change.